mustering in from sea. With a rollicking song, he sweeps along, swaggering boisterously. His face is weather-beaten. He wears a hooded sash, red, white, and blue about his head. A mentality to eat and smash. He growls as he storms the field, a hero big and bold, and the trees all shake and quiver and quake as he robs them of their gold. The autumn wind is a Walton raider, pillaging just for fun. He'll knock you round and say ball down, and laugh when he's conquered and won.
Escape? Yeah. All right, we are live here at Raider Valley in Marietta, Georgia, on the campus of Walton High School, getting set for game one, round one of the Georgia State High School football playoffs here in the 7A classification, as the Walton Raiders will host the Camden County Wildcats. Walton coming in 9-1 overall on the season. Camden County is 7-3 as they enter tonight's ball game. And Chris Hickson, it's been a great season of Walton High School football this year, and tonight another outstanding matchup here in Raider Valley as the Walton Raiders get set to host a team from what many people consider to be the SEC of high school football, and that is Region 1 down in South Georgia.
You can't say enough about football down in South Georgia. It's usually tough, grinded out type of football. Of course, it's changed over time. They start to pass the ball a little bit more, but the historic Camden County program, they've done so much in football history here in Georgia. It's exciting to have them here in Raider Valley for sure. And the last time these guys met up was at the Corky Kell in 2005. Yeah. I think the score was 45-14.
Didn't work out so well for the Raiders that night, hoping to get a little bit of revenge here tonight as they face Camden County in a much more important game here tonight than that game we're talking about in 2005. That was the first game of the season in the Corky Kell Classic. So obviously round one of the state high school playoffs, a much more important matchup, and we'll see, lots of things obviously have changed for both of these teams during that time. Different head coaches, obviously different players. But over on the other sideline, a guy that's been around the block in high school football, not just in the state of Georgia, but from Kentucky, Bob Spire, formerly coached at North Gwinnett High School. So, he's matched up against Walton teams in the past as head coach of North Gwinnett. Now he's on the other side here coaching Camden County. And Bob Spire's a guy who knows a whole lot about coaching football.
There's no doubt about that. What's funny is that the time that I actually met Bob Spire was here at Raider Valley, probably about 4 years ago. Met Bob Spire, super impressed, and at the same time, he's an arena guy. He coached in the arena football as well, and he definitely knows Walton Raider football. He knows the Raider Valley very well, probably knew exactly where the locker room was going to be, and it was a comfortable feel for him. It's a pretty exciting move, I would think, when you're up here and playing football in this area. But if you get an opportunity to go down south, as a previous Walton coach did, Coach Ed Dudley went down south, that is like the heart of type of football where you have like the whole town shut down, and that's true Friday Night Lights where they play.
Yep, another previous Walton head coach has gone down south as well. Rocky Hidalgo, former head coach here, took Walton to the state championship game back in 2011, moved on to Glenn Academy and has had a very successful run at Glenn Academy as well after being one of the most successful coaches to ever coach here at Walton. So going to be a great matchup here tonight. Walton's wearing the blue tops, red pants. Camden County came out wearing white tops, the blue helmets, of course. And I think they were in blue or gray pants. We'll see when they come back out. Game's going to maybe not start at the normal time here tonight because we've got GPB here again. This is the 4th TV game this season for Walton, which I'm just going to go ahead and say that's probably a record for the Walton Raiders to have 4 TV football games in 1 year. So we had the Corky Kell Classic, obviously, the ESPN game against North Gwinnett, Roswell on GPB, and here Camden County on GPB once again.
Well, it's exciting. You know, whenever you got TV coverage, you're something important.
Yeah.
And in Walton, it's a good opportunity to play under that type of pressure because it's an emotional raise. And it's kind of like when you play your first game of the year or when you go into the playoffs where you have this emotional raise. And how will you perform, the emotion of it can often dictate how you play, and you might have some mistakes in there you want to settle down by the second or third series. Well, Walton's had an opportunity to play under the pressure of camera and live TV. So hopefully they're matured through that and they're willing to put on a win here and continue that success as we go further into the playoffs. But focusing on today, you want to make sure you have more points at the end of the game because this is win or go home.
It's pretty much the key to the game is to finish the game with more points than the team that you're playing against. You want to have at least one more point, and that's what ultimately gets you a win here in this game of football. Camden County, as I mentioned, has 3 losses on the season. 2 of those came in that SEC of high school football that we talked about, Region 1. They had a real close loss to Lowndes, 28-27. That was back on October 26th. The week prior to that, October 19th, they dropped one to the number 1 team in the state. Colquitt County won that one 38-9. But their only other loss was to an out-of-state team from South Carolina, and that was Wren High School. And Wren beat Camden 25-14 early in the season back in August 24th to be exact. So Camden County comes in, very solid team, playing high level of football right now. And this is going to be a tough matchup for the Walton Raiders. You know, Walton with just the 1 loss, only a 1-point loss to Roswell, and it took a blocked field goal at the end of the game by the Hornets for them to come away with a win that night.
Walton's very close to being an undefeated team, there's no doubt. And when you look at that, you sit there and say, okay, maybe they're a little bit better than what an 8-1 team is. They're probably, you could suggest there's reason to say they're good enough to be undefeated for sure. At the same time, when you look at Camden County, they're better than 7-3. I'll tell you that right now. When you look at the normal scale of just at the black and white of wins and losses, they're playing some significant teams. When you bring up the SEC of football in high school, guaranteed it's that.
Yeah. Well, a lot of people feel that way. I think Region 3 this year with McEachern and Marietta and Hillgrove and North Paulding and some of the other teams, that's a very strong region here in Georgia high school football as well. You've got other regions around the country. I'm sure some of those South Florida, Dade County regions probably have a tremendous amount of talent down there in the Miami area. I know of a region in Oklahoma, in the Tulsa area, that's got just a tremendous top to bottom talent. Every team can beat any other team on any given night. They're always really, really good out there as well. But this one's going to be good. It's been an interesting season, Chris, rather. We talked about the SEC of high school football. Well, Gwinnett County also known for a high level of football, and Walton has beaten 3 Gwinnett County teams this year with Mill Creek, Collins Hill, and North Gwinnett, the defending state champions. So Walton has had their fair share of tough opponents as well.
When you look at Georgia football, I know we probably said this week in, week out. You look at Georgia football, it is undoubtedly at the top level in the United States of football. So that's why you get so many recruits that come out of Georgia, because of how significant the players are. You know, the level of play is intense. The coaching is unbelievable. And so when you get a chance to come in and out-of-state team comes in and play, they know they're playing a high-level team just simply because it's a Georgia team.
And for those of you who don't know Chris Hickson, Chris trains a lot of these guys outside of their normal, practice with their respective teams. Chris gets to see a lot of these players throughout the metro area and really the state of Georgia. So Chris has done a lot and seen a lot in his time, and so to hear a guy like Chris talk about what a high level of football you see here in the state of Georgia, that's a high praise coming from a guy like you. So it's going to be an outstanding game here tonight. Looking forward to this one. Kind of during the national anthem, I was kind of scanning the crowd a little bit, and there's not much out there right now, Chris. I don't know if these people are just sitting in their cars with the heat on, just waiting till the last minute to walk in, but you really kind of hope some fans turn out, because the players feed off that. During the course of the game, they can feed off that energy from the crowd, and it looked like a pretty light turnout. Yeah, it's not looking too good with this. With our webcast here on Raider Vision and the GPB broadcast, there's a lot of options to watch this game here tonight. But despite the cold weather, there's nothing like being in the stadium to watch the game live.
Absolutely. If you're here at the stadium, no matter what, you're going to be able to see it live in person. Unbelievable plays like number one, walking off from the coin flip, Don Blaylock. When you watch him in person, you get to see an unbelievable Superman out there playing. We get to see Austin Kirksey, throwing the ball. You get to see the ins and outs of the game. It's a totally different perspective. I love sitting up here in the perch that we have, because we get to, I've always said if I was going to be an offensive coordinator, this is exactly where I'd want to be, because you get to see the development and the personalities of the coordinators and how they want to play the game. There's such a great advantage of being here, because you get to see the wide scope of all 22 players at one time.
So we are just moments away from kickoff here. Camden County taking the field. They are in those white tops and blue pants that I mentioned earlier. Walton is going to receive the opening kickoff, so we'll get to see this high-powered Walton Raiders offense have the football first here to start this game. And, man, I am jacked for round one here in the Georgia High School Football State Playoffs. The winner of this game, you don't want to get too far ahead, obviously, but the winner of this game will play the winner of Hillgrove and Pebblebrook. And so first things first, though, here tonight it's Walton, it's Camden, and we are about set to go. And, man, I tell you what, I think when I was talking about the crowd and how, I think what I was really trying to say, folks, is if you live nearby, plenty of good seats still available.
Get here. You brought up Hillgrove, and prospectively they're going to get through Pebblebrook. Hillgrove is playing probably in the top 5 of Georgia. They're undefeated. Their quarterback, McGravy, they kind of switch off quarterbacks. McGravy is really the guy who handles the ball for them. He's thrown no interceptions.
Wow, that's tremendous, especially considering the level of competition they played against.
Exactly.
So Camden will be kicking off, as I said, moving right to left across our screen. And the ball looks like it came off the tee. I don't know if it blew off the tee or if he just never set the football up on the tee, but he's going to reset the football. And we are about set to go here from Raider Valley. The records really don't matter. Walton 9-1 on the season, Camden County 7-3, but you're 0-0. Everyone's 0-0 at this point. And Don Blaylock fields the kickoff in his end zone, so that's going to be a touchback, and the Walton Raiders will have the football with their first possession, 1st and 10 from their own 20-yard line.
All right, here we go. We get to see how Coach Hirschfeld's going to come out here and what he wants to do. It's a little bit wet, not downpouring at all. But I would imagine that we're going to run a normal offense because the rain is not significant at all. Let's see what they do. I bet they stay somewhat conservative, but what I think they're going to do, they're going to have a lot of match play on defense. That's what we're looking at on film when I was studying with Austin. Here they go. They're going match, which is just man.
So Raiders have 3 men split wide to the left side. So Yoye in the backfield right next to Austin Kirksey, who's in a pistol formation, standing at his 15-yard line. He takes a high snap, fakes the handoff, pump fakes, now is forced to run and gets wrapped up, can't get away from the Camden defense, and he is dropped at the 11 is where they'll spot him. So that is a loss of 9 yards. It's going to be second down and 19.
Definitely frustrating. You come out and you try to do something special, a little pump and go. And we were looking for KD down the middle in the center seam because they have a low flight safety on the backside and they had match play inside. Couldn't get enough protection.
Very similar formation this time. 3 men wide to the
Looks
left.
like a screen left. Oh, no.
This time Kirksey's going to keep it. Fake the run, now gets it out to Soyoye. Soyoye with a stiff arm at the 25. Plunges across the 30 and is driven out of bounds. What a stiff arm by DJ Soyoye.
So Walton has this in their arsenal, right, where they have an RPO, which is that's a read pass option. So he read to keep the ball, and then he was looking for a stick route on the trip side, but didn't find what he wanted. Started to scramble. So Soyoye, the maturity of the team, they were able to make a play out of it.
Walton with the football all the way out to the 34-yard line, a pickup of 23. This time Kirksey tries to keep it himself and is wrapped up in the backfield for another loss back at the 31-yard line. That is a loss of 3 yards. It'll be second and 13.
So definitely Camden's line, they're winning the trenches. And games are normally won in the trenches. You got to consistently be able to protect your quarterback, open gaps up to be able to run the ball. And Camden County's coming out. They're showing some physical inside play. And Walton's got to answer that. They got to be able to be disciplined and make those blocks. I would imagine a quick hitter here, get the ball out. It's going to be tough with the press defense.
Twins to each side this time for Kirksey. Kirksey looks left. He's going to get rid of the football off the hands of Dom Blaylock, incomplete. And Dom was coming across on a slant pattern, and that falls incomplete. It's going to be third down now and 13 for the Raiders.
So they brought a backer off the edge that was unblocked, got to Austin a little bit quicker than he'd like, of course, and he definitely got hit on that play, shaking his arm a little bit. But it caused him to throw a little bit high. Anytime you're a defense, you want to basically move the halo, get the quarterback uncomfortable and get him moving, and if you can do that, makes it an issue.
3 to the left, 1 to the right for Kirksey. Soyoye with him in the
They're bringing
backfield.
5.
He's looking to DJ again. Nice move by DJ across the 30, 35, 40. DJ to the 45, 50, dragging tacklers with him into Camden territory at the 49-yard line. 20-yard pickup that time by DJ Soyoye.
Excellent play. I'm going to tell you, Walton personality-wise, they've got to be able to just not make the mistakes where you have the losses, and this drive will all the drives will turn out to be much more consistent. They got matched with 1 over the top in the trips, and they're matched up backside.
This time they keep it on the ground. It's Soyoye. He again drags a tackler with him to the 45-yard line and pick up a 4 for DJ. It'll be second down and 6.
Excellent. Had 6 guys inside the box there. Excellent time to run the ball. They did a good job there. They had trips to the left with the single side. Looks like we're going to be doing the same thing. Now they want Dom. Now let's see what they do here, because I think this is a call here that they like. They liked what they saw, so they're getting trips with a middle safety, and let's see what they do. They may just run a fade here.
They're going to play press on Dom right there at the line of scrimmage.
Big time inside out press too. I bet they go 9 route. No, they're going to Kendall.
And it looks like he was interfered with. That is Alford on the reception, and he may go. He's in the end zone. It's a touchdown for the Raiders from 45 yards out.
Seam route, and whenever you got a middle safety, there's options, right? You want to take number 3, run him across the safety to get a little bite out of him, to keep him away from the trip side. Then you take number 2, who's the slot in between the outside receiver and the most inside. Next thing you do is you run that guy on a go, right up the seam. They did. Touchdown.
So I don't know if he was interfered with or if he just kind of stumbled on his own, but he had to come out of a stumble and then refocus and catch that football for the reception, and that was just a tremendous play by Katie Alford, but you don't expect anything less from him. He's been doing it all season.
KD, I would say, is a very underrated player. You would think he'd have more attention going on, and it's well deserving of attention because that guy is leading the receiving.
Just picked up an offer this week from Wingate University in the, I believe, Charlotte, North Carolina area. So congrats to him, but you got to think that more offers coming down the road for KD Alford. Walton up 7-0 after the extra point is good from the Walton field goal unit or extra point unit. That was Jack Westbrook on the kick. So good start for the Raiders as they drive 80 yards and get 7 points on the board in very little time. Under 3 minutes that drive was.
That was a 2-minute and 54-second drive that covered 80 yards. It led to a touchdown.
So now we'll see the Walton defense going up against this Camden offense.
It's exciting to see Walton come out and be able to score on the first drive. You want to set a tone. That was a tone setter for sure. But there's a couple things you got to be worried about, and that is where they're getting pressure on the quarterback, and they're applying they're bringing blitzes off the side. They've got 3 hands down, and they're bringing the outside backers on blitzes. That's why they're running match on the wide receivers, and we got to be able to answer that. So obviously Chris is finding his groove calling plays as he always does. I'm going to say it again. I think that guy's one of the best play callers in the state, if not top 2.
Yeah, he's had an outstanding season. We talk about these individual players, but you know what? They have been coached very, very well all year long, and not just offensively. Tim Ewing, my old teammate, my friend, has done a tremendous job with this Walton defense, and we're going to get to see what they can do here against the Camden County Wildcat offense here in just a moment. But just outstanding coaching across the board for this Walton football team.
Absolutely. Have you seen any of the Walton game day footage where you get to see Coach Bruner in the locker room talking about how you need to attack the game and emotion and how you need to play? It's unbelievable.
He's the kind of guy that he gets you motivated to the point where you run through a brick wall for him. Here's the return by Camden, and the return man can't quite see the jersey number on him, but he got across the 30-yard line, and looks like they will spot it. Let's see, at the 34. Waiting for the spot.
I think you got it, 34-yard line.
I believe it was Jordan Billups, number 1 on the return.
I believe so as well. They're in the middle of the field. They're coming out with Stack on the right. So they got a 2-by-1 with a flex fullback inside there.
Number 10, Danny Felix in the backfield for the Wildcats.
They'll be running this one.
That is a freshman running back they're handing it off to. And look at that big hole. He's got room as he bounces it outside into Walton territory and breaks a tackle at the 29-yard line. He could go, and he is going to get into the end zone for a Camden touchdown. Wow. Freshman running back goes 66 yards for Camden County, and they are an extra point away from tying this one up.
Well, anytime that you run kind of the defensive scheme that we just did on a stack formation, which is corner, outside shade, you got a backer that's split out to help, and then you had a safety on top of that. There's too many guys removed outside of run help, so you're going to see an inside run. Almost missed that, but he got it in there.
So the Camden point after attempt is good, and we are all tied up at 7 apiece with 8:45 left to play here in the first quarter. And man, these two teams did not waste any time getting on the scoreboard.
We're just going to call it first one to 100 wins. Well, we would like to do a little bit more of keeping their defense on the field longer, not ours, but not in that way. We want the 3 and outs.
Right, exactly. Get them off the field quick, but not that way. Right. Tremendous effort by freshman running back number 10, Jamie Felix, for Camden County with the 66-yard touchdown run. But, you know, it wasn't just all. I don't want to take anything away from him. He basically just ran in a straight line. There was such a huge hole at the line of scrimmage. Now, he did, break tackles inside the Walton 30 there, but tremendous effort by Felix, and great blocking by the Camden County offensive line as well.
And a great job recognition by the coach over there to call that particular play. He saw, the crease potential, and it's really hat placement, right? If you can get a hat across another hat, you won the battle. And that's what they're looking at. Where can we get advantages in blocking? And that's what they did. They saw the crease and the extra guy removed. And all it takes to get removed out of the play is a stack receiver. All of a sudden you take your outside linebacker and you stretch him another 4 yards. He's now out of the play.
What a start to this one. Both offenses making big plays. It was Katie Alford with a 45-yard touchdown reception from Austin Kirksey for the Walton Raiders, and freshman running back Jamie Felix with a 66-yard jaunt for Camden County.
I was having a conversation with the broadcast team from Camden County earlier, and they were saying, look out for number 10. He's a freshman, and if they give him the ball 10, 15 times, it's going to be a challenge for us. But I really think their line is significant. We got to talk about their line. They're big, they're strong, they're physical, and they're 9 deep.
Well, we got a friend up here that has some inside info, told us about one of their linemen, only a sophomore, who is the highest rated sophomore offensive lineman in the country by some recruiting services, and that's number 56, Micah Morris.
He almost has as many offers as his number. He's got 50 offers.
That is unbelievable, and by all the big schools that you could possibly think of in college football, all very high on his list. This kick is once again received in the end zone by Dom Blaylock, so the Raiders will start at their 20-yard line with their second possession of the night.
I'd love to see Dom try to catch that two-handed up top and keep his feet right before the goal line, because he's a threat, and we want him to be, especially when you got guys spread out running at you like a kickoff. You want that threat out there running open space. All right, let's see how they come out.
Raiders offense breaks the huddle on the sideline, takes the field.
They'll probably be a little bit more reserved than that double pump move on the first play of last series. So we got a 2-by-1 with a flex. This is a similar approach that Camden just took with a flex back there, and have a 2-by-1.
We'll hand it off to Soyoye. He's got room outside, right side, across the 30, 35, 40. Soyoye into Camden territory, tries to cut back inside, but is finally caught up to inside the 40 of Camden at the 38-yard line. And that is a pickup of 40, well,
a lot of yards.
Yeah, Mark said 42. It is 42. Thank you, Mark.
What I like about that, we didn't try to attack inside. We didn't try to attack inside. We went outside. Because there's a lot of meat inside, so we went outside. I loved it. I bet we might be attacking left here. Let's go flex motion to the left. We're going straight up. Never mind.
Austin looks right first, then back to the left, and that one is once again off the hands of, I believe, Katie Alford. And we do have a flag out there, so we will see what this call is. So it looks like it is going to go against the Wildcats. And a defensive holding call, I believe.
Defensive holding is the call assessed against the Wildcats.
So KD, I believe, was held a little bit.
There would have been a little bit more separation there. I don't believe the DB had to hold so much there to stay with. He said number 5, but I see a number 1 out there on him. All right, so here we go. We got a single side to the field. We got 2 in and a flex.
Now Blaylock in motion. They'll
there
hand
we
it
go.
to him on the jet sweep. Blaylock's got blocking. Soyoye makes a block for him, and Dom tries to get across the first down marker, but can't quite get there. He's going to be real close.
Jalen Davis on the stop for the Wildcats.
So on 2nd and 1, you've got, this is an unrisked down. You can do something if you'd like. You can do something up top. You're already in the red zone. You can definitely, if you'd like to put a little fade pass here, do something up top, you can do that. Get respect out of the defense, because there's really nothing wrong with the 3rd and 1, statistically.
Kirksey He'll keep it on the ground at Soyoye. Again, bounces outside. He's got a first down and more inside the 10-yard line. Goes Soyoye. And it looks like it's going to be a gain of about 10 yards by DJ. He is really making moves on the ground and in the passing game.
I think Coach Hirschfeld's found something that stretch zone, kind of that outside zone play, is definitely working for them, and they're running away from what they think the blitz is, and their unbalanced line. I think they like that whenever they go to the tight end side with a flex. Now they got flex away, stretch again, and they're throwing
to the right.
There it is.
And caught for a touchdown. Is Luke Boynton making a comeback. Luke Boynton injured in the first game of the season at the Corky Kell Classic, breaks his arm, and Luke Boynton here, playing in his first game since the first game of the season, catches a touchdown pass from Austin Kirksey.
I'm going to just call that impressive. Do you know how many times that guy ran that? Luke Boynton in the Corky Kell game ran that about 2 or 3 times, and was the first time he ran it, when he got hurt, it was about a 60-yard play.
Yep. So a touchdown for the Raiders. Sorry, that caught me off guard. I was not expecting to see Luke Boynton out there. Had no idea he was back in action and ready to go tonight. So tremendous lift for the Raiders. 2 touchdown passes now for Austin Kirksey on the night. Already 97 passing yards for the senior signal caller for the Raiders. 2 touchdowns, 4 of 5 passing. How would you grade him out so far, Chris?
Well, we give 3 minuses for sacks, so he's going to, or lost yards, so he's got 6 minuses already. But he also has triple pluses for any touchdown score, so he's offsetting it.
Yeah.
So I grade him out as doing an excellent job, and definitely that reaction play that he had to DJ when he looked one way and he scrambled and then dumped it off to him, and we call that second effort plays, and he'd get an extra plus on that one as well. Oh, this just came in. It's on my desk. By the way, Luke Boynton will be playing tonight.
I don't mind getting surprised, especially when it's a nice surprise like that, but great to see him back out there. For those who don't know about Luke, Luke is a University of Nebraska commit in the sport of baseball. Talked into playing football this year by the coaches, and he came out and had a tremendous play in game 1, as I mentioned. Got hurt on that play, broke his both forearm bones. Walton's going to try a little squib/pooch kick here, and it's going to be fielded by Camden, and they will get it up to about the 38-yard line, maybe the 39. We'll see. They're spotted here. But I think Walton was thinking maybe they could run down and get on that thing before Camden was able to field it. But Camden, with the heads-up play, being able to field that football.
Yeah, you try those little squibs to keep a little surprise and at the same time not give them such an advantage after they had a great return before. And you slow them down a little bit, and they want to check and make sure that the kick is made on the next one. That's when you can actually kick and threaten them a little bit with your pursuit. Here they come in a 2-by-1 look. They got a tight end in.
It is the junior
They're running stretch.
Logan Watson. He will hand it off to Felix. We've got a flag on the play, and coming in where that flag came in at makes you think it's going to be holding. We will see the official indication.
West and Weston Gurr. 4-yard gain on the play.
Weston Gurr making that play there. I'll tell you, it's tough to have a positive play against Walton on the edges. It's almost like your best suit is to do like they did on the touchdown run, is where they hit it inside the tackles. When you try to stretch it, you got Weston Gurr out there. You got such good linebacker play on the edges that contain and force back to your help inside. They do such a great job. That's a Bruner thing. Great call there for Walton. Get holding on the outside, bringing them back. Here we go. We're in a 2-by-2 set with a little bit of a shift into a flex and a running back. Now we're in a 1-by-2.
2nd and 21. They will hand it off once again. I think it's Felix, the breaking tackles. It's not Felix. I'll get the man's name for you here in just a second, but a huge pickup inside Walton territory, down inside the 30. to the 27. It is Jamie Fields.
25.
It is, and I'm going to tell you, I know he's just a freshman, but if you guys watch his hip movement, when contact is made on the side of him, he's able to move the hips, and he swings you off of him. And he made a little reverse move, a little 360, and was able to spin out of that last tackle. He is a talent. But look at this.
Now there's a flag way back inside the Camden 25, and you can hear the Boo Birds after a huge pickup by Camden County. We just now saw it, but looks like it's going to be an illegal motion penalty against Camden.
Looks like the Wildcats will repeat the first down.
I didn't exactly see where it came from, but definitely advantage Walton.
Yeah, it looked like it came from that far sideline. It had to have based on the placement of the flag. So you would think that the Camden County folks knew about it the entire time. It came from their sideline.
All right, first and a mile, looks like 25.
First and we'll call it 26.
We've got cover 2 out there. They're running inside. Quarterback's got it, though.
The stop, but there's no ball carrier as it is kept that time by Watson. And Watson gets it across the 30-yard line to the 31. So a pickup of 8 for Watson.
That's an 8-yard pickup for the Wildcats.
So a little zone read. He, we clammed down on the running back. So the quarterback pulls it, of course. Next thing you know, he has the ball. Here we go with the same type of play, but pass pulls it out for a screen.
This pass is complete on the far sideline. They get it across the 40-yard line and stopped there. So short of a first down, it's going to bring up a 3rd and medium here for Camden.
We've got to think about how we're letting these big gains happen. That's an issue. That's going to have to be stopped. Camden County looks pretty smooth and disciplined, except for the flags. They're performing and executing.
Yep, you got Connor West, one of the linebackers, limping around out there.
We're going to a 3-by-1 set here.
3rd down and 6 for the Wildcats.
Shift cover 2. They're rolling. This
Watson
is good.
The ball is loose. The ball's out, and Camden is able to get back on top of it. It was on the ground for a couple seconds. The Raiders had an opportunity to get that football, and I believe Trey Middleton was one of the Raiders in on that stop. We'll get a chance to take another look at it here, Chris, on our monitor as we're sort of delayed with what we're watching. But what a tremendous effort this time by the Walton defense. And it is going to bring up a 4th down situation. It was Middleton.
All year long, Walton has been excellent on screens. How they play and mature, and you know why? Because of what we do to the blocker. Weston Gurr blows up blockers.
The punt is away by Camden. It should be fair caught by Dom. Dom's going to just let it bounce and roll. Takes
Flag.
a Camden roll.
Throw a flag.
Takes a Camden roll inside the 25.
There it goes. There's
19.
the flag.
So a flag did come out late. Is this going to be interfering with the
Absolutely. Did not allow him to catch the ball. Stop him from catching.
In Camden's defense, it did look like to me that Dom threw up the signal pretty late. If you'll watch here, once again, we get a late replay. So the signal comes in by Dom pretty late. But the flag comes in, and it will help the Raiders.
I saw the signal.
Oh, I saw it too. I just think it was kind of late after he was already surrounded by the
I agree.
players. But 5:01 left to play here in the first quarter. Walton gets the football here again. We'll see where the ball will be spotted after this penalty is stepped off. And I'm wondering if they're going to wave this off because there's a long discussion here.
How does that work? I don't know the rule on that particular flag.
Chris, you want me to answer that? I don't know. We're going to find out. You know, I think there's somebody next door in the booth, one booth over, that probably knows the answer. But
it's their job.
This game has too many rules.
That they do.
I know the simple ones. Block, tackle, score at least one more point than the other team.
Rule 6.1.1 in the rule book. The value of points. Here we go. Let's see what they come out with here.
Well, still talking about it now. It looks like it might go against the Raiders because they're There we go.
Catch interference is the call.
All right, so kick catch
against the
interference.
Wildcats.
They do mark it off against Camden, and after the mark off, it'll be spotted at the 35-yard line.
The ball will be placed on the 35-yard line.
So Walton with a pair of 80-yard touchdown drives. Now they'll have to go 65 yards this time if they want more points on the board. It's 5:01, like I said, left to play in the first. Walton leading 14-7 over Camden County here at Raider Valley.
3-by-1. Oh, man. Too bad. We had a 3-by-1 with no help over the top on Dom, and that usually is a green light for Austin and Dom to go ahead and take.
Ball started to call.
I wonder if we're going to stick with it. We're lining right back up. I think we're sticking right in it.
Chris is referring to no deep safety here. They've got one-on-one coverage with Dom Blaylock here on the near side, and now the safety shifts over. Kirksey's going to be flushed out of the pocket. He's going to try to keep it himself. He'll get rid of the football to avoid the sack and ends up hitting one of his assistant coaches there, or it might have been Coach Bruder.
67.
That was in the line of sight of Dom, so that, you know, a legal throw there to throw away.
Second down and 15 for the Raiders. Ball spotted at the 30-yard line. Just the second incomplete pass of the night for Austin Kirksey.
They know we're in a passing down here, 2nd and 15, so you can expect a little bit of pressure, a little bit of free willing for the line. We need to get the ball out of there fast. They got 5 guys looking like they're coming.
Fakes the handoff, looking over.
They went back to the same play.
That is Katie Alford. Katie Alford in a foot race to the end zone. Nice move to give himself some more space. And it's a touchdown for Katie Alford. 70 yards from Austin Kirksey.
They need to start thinking about help over the top on KD. KD is taking that slot, and he is just running free. They're not doing anything about it. They can't stick with him. You got to enjoy the fact that you got 2 guys out there that need help. The safety completely was on top of Dom on the single side, and the next thing you know, they took it over the top where there was no help. Great job by Coach Hirschfeld.
With those 2 guys, Katie Alford and Dom Blaylock, it's pick your poison, and most teams all season long have been picking Dom Blaylock to cover and give more attention to, and Katie Alford has made the most of his opportunities this year.
Looks like we may have a unsportsmanlike on us on the on that touchdown. We'll see what they do here on the kickoff. All right, we got the extra point good. We're up 21-7.
2 touchdown lead for the Raiders. 4:45 still left to play in this first quarter. We've already seen 4 touchdowns.
If they keep scoring like this, it's going to be a long game because it's also a TV game.
Your bleachers to your far right, we have a concession stand.
I can give you some early numbers here. Austin Kirksey, 5 of 7 passing for 167 yards and 3 touchdowns. How about Katie Alford? 2 catches, 115 yards, 2 touchdowns.
You know, it's fun to be quarterback when you get those kinds of numbers, and Austin's putting the ball out there. And this is not the kind of game where you can just sit back there and pass. You got to get back there and throw it. Those guys are coming. They're aggressive. They're bringing heat. They're not taking off pressure. You're not getting all day to throw on these guys. This is Walton performing under pressure. I love it. I love watching it. We're gonna have fun. You know, so far looking at the film come this week.
So you mentioned that you were speaking with the Camden County broadcast crew prior to the game. I was speaking with some Camden County folks, asked them, because I didn't know how long of a drive is that to come up here from Camden County, and they said 6 hours. So, you know, these guys have had a long day. And if this first quarter is any indication, they could end up having a long night. Now, there's still plenty of football left to be played here, of course. Don't want to get too far ahead of ourselves, but it's been a tremendous start for Austin Kirksey, Coach Chris Hirschfeld, and this Walton offense. The kick is away, and it is going to be fielded at the 1-yard line as they kick it deep this time. And there is an alley there for the return man, and it looks like he's going to go. We'll see if they catch him. He stumbled. I think he stumbled all on his own, and it was B.J. Gibson tracking him down. And what a break for the Raiders as Camden almost takes that one all the way back to the house.
The ball will be spotted inside the 12-yard line.
I'll tell you, when you think you squeeze and constricted, now that shows the example. When you look at that, we're able to see the replay here. If you don't come down in an even wall and everybody times up their approach at the same time, now you create cracks and crevices, and that's exactly what just happened. You have to sprint to a certain yard line, everybody stop and break down, so you create the wall, and then you squeeze and constrict. And unfortunately, we were uneven. They scored. We're in a cover two, but they're in a tight run blocking.
That is Felix.
There they go.
On the carry, gets down to the 5-yard line. So it is going to be second down and about 4, looks like, for the Wildcats.
Made by number 25, Weston Kerr.
Here they are, double tight.
That is Watson handing it
Same
off to
play.
Felix once again. Felix pounds it inside. This time is met and hit hard as he tries to get across the goal line, but he was driven back at the 1-yard line, short of the goal line, and it's going to bring up,
for the Raiders.
I almost said third down, but I think that gets him enough for first down.
Oh,
So
check that. That's good for a Wildcat.
They've got
first
4
down,
opportunities
first and
here,
goal,
and I guarantee you they ain't going for a field goal, so Walton's got to tighten up. They're going right back,
high
same
snap.
play.
They give it to Felix, and this time he's hitting the backfield, and who is it? Who do you think it is? Trey Middleton again.
Made by Middleton.
There we go, Trey. Great job. Way to get in there.
Trey Middleton lives in opposing backfields.
Stand by as we have an injury
We
on
got
the
a
field.
guy down. Is that the running back? I'll tell you what, it's not that you want injured players out there, but I'll tell you, it's tough.
Man, I tell you what, he got popped, and he really, he tried to crouch down as Middleton was coming in, and it was Middleton's arm that hit him in the side of the helmet, but I don't know if that's the injury. I think he's holding his left leg, and we certainly hope that the young freshman, Jamie Felix, is all right. He's had a tremendous game so far already here tonight for Camden County, and they are attending to him, and he's being treated, and we certainly hope that they'll be able to get him up and moving around here in just a moment. 3:43 left to play here in the first quarter from Raider Valley. Walton leading Camden 21-7 right now. And when we come back to the action, Camden is going to have a second down and goal.
10, Jamie Felix.
As Felix gets up,
Trying to see you back on your feet, Jamie.
he is making his way off the field. Doesn't need any help. Looks like he's moving all right. So that is a good sign. Good to see from Jamie Felix.
Loss of 4 on the play. That'll bring up a 2nd and 5. Check that 2nd and goal for the Wildcats with 3:43 remaining.
Second down and goal for the Raiders, or for the Wildcats rather. Looks like it is spotted at the 4-yard line, just inside the 5 maybe.
All right, we got trips to the right. Looks like we're going to do, it's either going to be, okay, they're going to go jet.
So they do hand it off on the jet sweep, and getting into the end zone for the touchdown is the Camden ball carrier, and I believe it is number 29, Javaris Edwards, on the touchdown carry for Camden. So Camden back on the board after a huge kickoff return, gets them all the way down to the Walton 12. They didn't have very far to go, and they're able to punch it into the end zone for a touchdown.
You know, it's kind of, you set somebody into a personality streak there. You jab, and then all of a sudden you hit him with a roundhouse. You hit him from the side. So we kind of stuffed him on the first couple, but then they were able to come through on that.
Reynolds kick is up, and it's good with 3:34 remaining.
3:34 now left to go here in the first.
Camden 14.
Walton still holding on to a 7-point lead, 21-14, and they'll get the football back here. And the way this game has gone, Chris, there's still time for not just Walton to score again here in the first quarter, but maybe Camden as well. Now, we certainly hope that Walton defense is able to tighten up at some point. But yeah, man, we've got ourselves a shootout here, and I didn't know what to expect really coming into this ball game tonight. But man, they've both teams have come out ready to play.
Well, it's fun to watch high-scoring points, but it kind of stress, it builds, and you just want to be that guy that's smooth, even going. I talked to Austin about what kind of emotion you need to have during this game. And it needs to be CEO, handle the motions of the game in a very straight line across. You know, not big high up, big low down. It's just you handle it. You don't listen to heavy metal music or big time rap. You just listen to classical and keep it nice, even keel, so you can go back there. You actually can process information quicker and easier when you're on the even keel. So hopefully we answer in that same way.
Blaylock and Alford deep to receive the ball for the Raiders.
Kick is away from Camden. They'll kick it a little short this time. It's going to go out of bounds. Walton will get the football at the 35-yard line.
Out of bounds. Flag on the play.
That's a great thing for us to get a little bit of an advantage to the 35-yard line. Work with a shorter field. Let's see what we do with it.
Walton has scored on every possession so far.
Let's keep that streak alive.
Looks like the ball will be spot on the 35-yard line as the Raiders take over, will be 1st and 10.
So I wonder exactly how Coach Hirschfeld's going to come out on this one. Is he going to try to take some time off? Are we going to go to Soyoye on the outside like what's been successful so far in the run game? Or are we going to try to hit that streak again and just score off the top?
Austin Kirkton, quarterback for the
All right, here we go.
They're in loose defense now. So now they got a two safety look, a bail corner. So it's basically a two drop. Oh,
Blaylock,
they went to a cover
they've
one.
Got him. They had Blaylock streaking down the field, but they keep it on the ground. And it is Soyoye getting across the 40 to the 41.
I'd like to thank Brian Mowry, Charlie Nesbitt, Taylor Aston.
Great job there. We got a gain of 6. A big advantage. Now we got 2nd and 4. Great job by the offensive line. And Soyoye gaining some good yardage there. He's always going to give you a tough run.
See if they look at Blaylock this time, because he was all alone streaking down the field. This time they'll keep it to on the ground to Soyoye again.
Woo!
Great job spinning off the tackler. He gets close to the first down marker. Looks like he's going to be just a bit shy. It's going to be 3rd and short.
The body control. The body control to be able to, one, put your shoulders in such a way to avoid an arm tackler, and then all of a sudden have contact face you, and then spin inside like that. Great job, Soyoye. Excellent run.
Very nimble, agile runner for a guy his size with that incredible lower body strength that he has. Very shifty on his feet as well, despite that lower body strength. Here is Blaylock coming in motion, and we've got a flag that comes out against the Raiders.
Teagan thought he was the guy in motion, and when he gave a little nudge, all of a sudden Dominic Blaylock also went in motion. Teagan's a little bit younger on the side of the ball, so you know you might get a couple mistakes out of a younger guy, but we definitely have a much harder down now. It'll change the play call for sure, from 3rd and 1 to 3rd and 6.
Yep, tough break for the Raiders.
See if we see a little stick route here. They may do something out here with Dom if they keep it outside, but he's got help inside, so it won't be an inside throw.
They fake the handoff. Kirksey is going to get forced out of the pocket, and he can't get away from the Camden defense. Looked like it was number 46 in on the stop for Camden. That is Myson Livingston, the senior defensive lineman, and Walton will have to put it away for the first time, and we'll see Charlie Pollock.
So one of the hardest things for us with that physical high pressure defense, when we're in a throwing down, they're going to bring it. And if we're in 3-step territory and we're not throwing quick, I think he tried to throw quick there. We actually did run a slant with Dominic on that one. But it's going to be a long night if we're scrambling.
Camden sends 2 guys back deep to receive. This one might have been partially blocked. The guy got in there for Camden. No flag comes out. The official is saying it's partially blocked. That's why that's the reasoning for no flag being thrown, as Pollock was run into. But you know what? When you're a guy trying to block a punt, you run into a guy like Charlie Pollock, that's basically like running into a brick wall. He's not your average punter.
I know. He is a big guy. And I'm going to tell you something. For the type of hit he took and the type of kick he just kicked, it takes a big physical guy. Great job. Great kick. Unbelievable.
So Camden starting at their 30-yard line. Logan Watson, the quarterback, back in there.
We've got that 2 shell again, so that's a cover 2 with outside shaded corners.
They will send a man in motion
Jet.
on the jet sweep. They'll give it to him. It's number 13 on the carry around the right side. It's got some blocking. Gets close to a first down, and he might have it. Looks like they'll spot him just short. The official looks like he's marking it at the 39. That was Caleb Keaton on the carry for Camden. That's a lot of alliteration. Caleb Keaton on the carry for Camden.
You know, when I know you do your tongue exercises and your language classes that you do and teach, I know that you can handle tongue twisters like that, so I leave all those to you.
I hope they hand him the ball a few more times. Caleb Keaton on the carry for Camden.
God, you kill that. We're in a cover one.
There
Oh,
you
wow.
are looking downfield. It is going to be overthrown, intended for a man there at the 40-yard line. Looks like maybe it was number 12, the intended receiver. Actually, it was number 15, Andre Rogers. Thank you to Mark Aston for getting the name and number right for me. Can't see anything.
I was a little concerned by the get off on the right side of they had the receiver going, but we actually recovered very, very well. I thought it was a straight 9 route to be thrown. All right, they're coming out in a 2-by-1 set. They've got that flex inside again. This is the formation they scored on.
Second down and 10.
They run the same
keep it
play.
On the ground. I think it's Felix. Felix is hitting the backfield this time and dragged down after a short gain. They will spot it at the 43-yard line. So pickup of 2 for Camden. And it'll be third down and 8.
So you always look for formation tells, right? So whenever they run that flex, they like to, and they're running stack outside, same formation. They're going after it again, same play.
Felix has a hole, and he's got enough for a first down as he gets inside Walton territory. They will spot it down at the 48 of the Raiders.
In the first quarter.
Well, they obviously see something, a crease, because they like that play a lot. They've gone to it about 5 times in this game.
First and 10 from the 47-yard line. And that will be the end of the first quarter.
That is the end of the first quarter of play. We'll flip the field, and it is Walton leading Camden 21-14 at the end of the first. And what a first quarter of football we had here at Raider Valley.
Yeah, you only had 35 points scored. That means we potentially could have 140 points by the end of the game at this rate. I mean, if you're, I do that right.
I don't think so.
What if there's overtime? I didn't have that in.
Yeah, I think you did do it. Yeah, you didn't factor in overtime, but
regular play, regulation play.
You would think at some point this pace is going to slow down between these two teams,
or speed up.
Or it could speed up. That's true. That was a big opportunity there for the Walton defense to come up with a big stop on third down, and unable to do it as Camden picks up the first down once again. So Camden offense looking impressive on the ground, especially. Now we were told that the philosophy at Camden has changed from what they've been traditionally. They were a wing tee offense, running the football for years and years, had great success with it. Won a couple of state championships, but with Bob Spire at the helm, we're told Camden is going to be more of a throwing team, and we just haven't seen it here tonight. They've only thrown the ball a couple of times, and when you can run it as well as they've been running it, why throw it?
Well, it actually, with the athletes and size that they get, well, spreading guys out actually helps their method. When you have the body types that they get, you spread guys out, you take more guys out of the mix. It's like playing Oklahoma drill, but not in that 5-yard gap. It's playing the Oklahoma drill in like hash to hash. But we definitely got to be able to come up with some answers defensively, because they get too many big plays. And certainly they could say the same thing about us as well. We're getting too many big plays. Look at the scoreboard. So both these teams, you think their halftime adjustments are going to show, they're doing this. I can guarantee you, Coach Bruner is going to address the issue of running that flex with the 2-by-1 receivers and having some sort of crease that they're liking blocking-wise on that right side. I'm not sure exactly what they see, but it definitely is a number count and a shading count. By the way, I just got word that one of my teammates is watching the stream. He actually lives in Florida, big-time real estate guy. guru. He's my tight end up in college, up in Rhode Island. He played at UCF first, then he transferred. We were lucky enough to get him. This guy was a workhorse. He led our team like you have no idea. He was a leader in so many different ways. Unbelievable guy, Pete Cook. Big shout out to you. Thanks for watching the Walton stream.
Shout out, Pete. Appreciate your viewership here tonight. Hopefully these guys are entertaining you. They keep it on the ground. Once again, Felix dives across the middle of the Walton line inside the 45 down to about the 42.
Number 7, Malik Adams.
So pick up a 5. It'll be second down and 5.
Bring up a 2nd and 5.
That's one of their shortest gains, and that's not a good statement because a 5-yard gain in one game is too much.
Just inside that 42-yard
But as soon as we're going to squeeze down on that, the answer is they're going to start putting it outside or jetting it. All right, so we got a cover 1 look here. We're going match with 1 over the top.
They keep it on the ground once again. Felix this time tripped up in the backfield, and guess who is in the backfield? It is the man who lives in the opposing backfields, and that's Trey Middleton.
He does a great job. And when you see a cover 1, they can bring an extra guy, put him inside to give some extra pressure. And that's exactly what they're doing. They're saying, look, we got to stop this run game. So they're putting extra pressure inside. They're going to match up outside. They're not beating us too bad at the passing game. We need to stop this run game, and I'm on board with that.
3rd down and 5 now.
We're going back to that cover 2 shell.
Camden spreads it out a little bit more this time. They fake the handoff now, looking downfield.
You can't screen us.
What a play. Connor West was out there, split out wide, and he was the first man in on the stop and made a tremendous effort. And you're right, Chris. Walton has defended the screen very well all season, as you said previously.
Game in, game out, we attack the screen like no other team. We're so good at taking on that block and blowing that block up where it just makes the running back not a clear shot to go downfield. I love the way Coach Bruner teaches that defense. Such a great job.
So we talked about how this pace had to slow down at some point. And we've seen the first 2 punts from each team. Camden hasn't punted it yet. We'll see if they end up kicking the football away. Dom Blaylock standing back deep at his 11-yard line.
I hope for my friend Pete Cook they kick it to him. I want him to see what Dominic Blaylock can do and why he's the best in the country.
They get the football away. This one is returnable, and Dom's going to just let it hit and roll. And a tremendous punt as they're able to down it inside the Walton 5. Looks like it'll be at the 1. Is it going to be a touchback? Oh, it got touched at the 4. Okay. So they looked like they downed it at the 1 for a moment, but it actually got touched at the 4. So Walton will start with football. 1st down and 10 right there at their 4-yard line.
You know, I'll tell you, my coach used to just absolutely go off on our kick return. Whoever the kick returner was, you had to be so aggressive to the ball. And if you could get there, you had to be able to fair catch that because of that right there. He had an opportunity, I think, to make somewhat of a good catch there, and I think he let that go by. It did look like it was going to go into the end zone, but it took that nice friendly roll for them.
So here is the Walton offense once again.
Wildcat.
Possession number 5. It's Dom on the carry. Dom's going to bounce outside left side, get tripped up, but he's able to fall forward after getting hit back inside the 5, fell across the 5 to the 6. A pickup of 2 for Dom, and it's 2nd down and 8.
So it's great to be able to have that in your arsenal. You pick up an extra guy blocking because your Wildcat obviously is the running back. He's going to be running the ball, and they have to understand that now we got 10 guys blocking, not 9.
So Middleton is in the football game on offense now for the Raiders, number 23. And they will fake a handoff, and I believe that's Dom again. And Dom gets it out just a little bit further away from the goal line, a pickup of maybe 1 or 2 more yards. And it's going to bring up a 3rd down situation, and now Kirksey comes back into the football game.
That'll bring up a 3rd.
Rightfully so. They're in a passing down without so much threat here. Got a 3rd and 6. We're in a 2-by-2 set. I wonder what we're going to be doing. They're probably going to go match with 1 over the top, I would imagine, with a little bit of safety. And they are. They got a little bit of help. They could bring that backer. He's right on top. I wonder if they're going to bail him.
Continue to play that press coverage, and they've been burned so many times. Kirksey, with some time this time, goes over the middle, and it's caught by by Blaylock. What a catch by Dom Blaylock. I thought there was no way he was going to be able to catch that football, and he does it again.
I'll tell you what, they ran a stack. They had safety over the top of the linebacker. They had safety over the top of the linebacker that was on top of the receiver. He came, the tackle came out and picked up the block excellently, and then we ran what's called a corner post by Dominic. Dominic ran a corner post, and it's called money on our system. We call money, and they were able to complete it. Great play.
Keep it on the ground to Soyoye this time. He's across the 40 to the 42-yard line.
Rightfully so.
Pickup of 6.
Great job there. A great call. After you hit them deep, then you just go one inside because they're going to be loose-footed. Great job. All right, they're not on our guy just yet. We're in a 2-by-2 set. One help over the top.
That was a 30-yard hookup from Kirksey to Blaylock across the middle. Now Soyoye with a big hole. DJ cuts back across the grain. DJ inside the 20, inside the 15, the 10, and dragged down at the 6-yard line. And scanning the field, I see no flags. A huge pickup by DJ Soyoye.
You gotta love it. You know, you don't know what you're going to get from Walton when you come out. They run that money play, and then all of a sudden they run a good play up the middle, get an advantage down at midfield. You think you might get a shot, and they come back with another play inside. Great call by Coach Hirschfeld to keep these guys on their toes. And guys, guess what? I did say on their toes with a run play. That's right, because you got so much threat outside.
First and goal at the Camden 6. They will fake a handoff. Actually, they give it to Soyoye, and he's going to be driven back this time. He gets to the 5 before he's driven back, so a pickup of 1 for DJ.
Looks like that's
Came out in a little bit of a different formation there. Had a flex inside and it's really tight alignments. I think what we did as an adjustment, Coach Letton told everybody to squeeze in their splits so the line is tighter to not let any caving on the inside, to limit the penetration. Almost like a wedge blocking type of formation.
Second down and goal from the 5-yard line for the Raiders.
We got a tight end and a flex, and we're running off tackle. No, we're hitting the pop pass. Hold. Could you hold it?
Boynton.
Yeah, holding. Yep.
It was intended for Boynton. A flag comes in, and it's going to be holding. You could tell that his progress was being impeded by a hold from Camden.
I tell you, boy, that is such a tough play for a shorter guy to handle. I remember I used to play against the Finnerans. If you guys remember Brian Finneran, he had a twin. He played for the Atlanta Falcons. Wide receiver is about 6'50".
On Atlanta radio here, yeah. We know Brian.
He had a twin, and they were both 6'7", and our corners were 5'9", and they would just run go patterns. So same situation there. You have number one who's not very tall, and you have Boynton who's huge, and it's tough for him to deal with.
Yep. Ball now spotted at the 2 after the penalty mark off.
This looks like maybe Austin may be keeping this. He's handing it off. Nope.
It is, I believe, Dom on the jet sweep, and Dom gets down to the 1. So pick up a 1 that time for Blaylock.
3rd and 1 from the 1. Go figure. Here we go.
Goal from the 1.
That'll be 3rd and 1. 3rd and goal.
Oh boy! I tell you, what are we gonna do? We got Austin coming to the sideline. They gonna call a timeout or go Wildcat? Wildcat it is.
Yep, Middleton coming into the football game.
It's 3rd down. Here we go, boys.
Blaylock with the snap, looking for a block. He's just going to walk right into the end zone for a touchdown. Dom Blaylock on the board, and Walton once again has a 2-touchdown lead on Camden, pending an extra point coming up here. It's 27-14, Walton Raiders.
Go figure, they give the ball to Dom at the goal line. When you need it, vote for Dom.
So for your friend Pete, who's tuning in, not sure when he started watching the broadcast, but Dom Blaylock, a 5-star recruit, committed to the University of Georgia for a couple of years already. He got his recruiting and commitment out of the way early so he could just focus on being a high school student, playing football, and enjoying life. He has not been the focus of the offense tonight. He did make that one tremendous 30-yard catch over the middle on this previous drive, but Walton has many other weapons. DJ Soyoye already on the night tonight, 8 carries for 124 yards rushing the football. Katie Alford has 2 catches. Both have gone for touchdowns and 115 yards. And Austin Kirksey already with 3 touchdown passes and just shy of 200 yards through the air for the Raiders. So it's been a tremendous effort and a 96-yard drive, by the way, that last drive for the Raiders.
I'll tell you what, they have about 350 yards worth of production already on offense. I mean, that's unreal, and we're halfway through this second quarter. Guys, this is an exciting game. Don't get me wrong. Camden's not done, and we got a battle. Those boys down in South Georgia know how to play football and grind things out. They're here to play. Walton's got to stay focused, keep hitting them in the chin, and be smart because they have big playability as we have seen this whole game so far.
Yeah, got to figure out how to stop number 10, the freshman running back for Camden County, Jamie Felix. He has been a force for Camden so far here on the night.
We encourage you to support the team behind the team. Please take a look at the banners here at Raider Valley for more information.
I would expect Camden to come out and do similar offensive scheme. I don't think they get out of it. I think, you know, they're usually one either hat or one block, one different thing to be able to make plays work. And they're finding success. It's just they've had penalties, they've had some lost yardage, and Walton's able to tough it out. But I tell you what, it's the edge play that we're very good at and the screen play we're very good at. I like their adjustment also to go to cover 1 and be able to, especially on you know, where you have the suspicion of run game, that we go cover 1 and we actually attack the box much more aggressive. I like that when we do that because they've seen something inside and they have that big old offensive line, and when we can do that, we create a lot more pressure inside to make them make different choices.
5:42 left to play here in the first half. Raiders on top, 28-14 over Camden County. And Connor Cummins to kick it away. This one is going to be returnable again, taken at the 1. And they form a wedge up the middle, and they've got some blocking and a nice return once again. B.J. Gibson is going to try to track him down and is finally able to force him out of bounds. And that is Caleb Keaton on the return. I didn't get to say Caleb Keaton on the carry. Caleb Keaton on the return that time.
I'm wondering what the flag was all about. Did we grab his face mask or something, or was there a edge block of issue?
We will get the indication here in just a second, but Chris is talking about a flag that came in late near the end of that play. But another tremendous return. Camden has been very good in the return game, and you know, it's not like we're seeing an electrifying effort by the return man. It's been tremendous blocking, really, is what it's been.
The ball be
You know, one of my
38-yard line.
one of my few football highlights as a younger kid playing football was a kickoff return for a touchdown that
Are you serious?
I can't really take a lot of credit. There was a tunnel for me to run through. I went untouched. So, and I think we're seeing a lot of that here tonight with this Camden return game.
Well, I mean, you have to have some speed to be able to do that and some physical ability. So I would imagine you deserve some credit. We're in a cover 2 shell, guys, and they're going to run again.
Yep, they keep it on the ground once again. I believe it is number 29 on the carry. Javaris Edwards.
For everybody out there to kind of understand why people run the ball against cover 2, it's because of this. You have corners on the outside shade of the outside receivers. Because of that, you have to have extra help by the linebackers inside. So they spread out a little bit too. Next thing you have is a soft inside. So let's run the ball. That's what happens.
Second down and 9 now for Camden after a pickup of 1.
All right, they're basically in a 3, and we're coming with a cover 1. Bale.
Take the handoff. They will throw the little tunnel
What'd I
screen,
tell you?
and a great play this time by Drew Mihalik. And you know what? You've said it early on. You cannot throw screens against this defense. You can keep trying, but they play them so well.
This just in. It says on my play sheet, don't throw screens against Walton. Weston Gurr and Mihalik, they come up and they blow those plays up. Their attack, they read it and smell it out so well.
Yep. We just were able to see a replay on the delayed stream that we're watching up here, and I tell you what, he sniffed it out big time. And once he realized where it was, he closed on it in a hurry.
Holding.
This time it is a keeper, and close to the first down is Watson. And I think he's going to get it. They will move the chains, and it's going to be a first down.
I'll tell you what, that left tackle, that left offensive tackle of Camden kept a good jersey grab on our end.
Well, the guy you're talking about is the big sophomore, number 56, Michael Morris. And you said his jersey number matches his number of offers that he already has as a sophomore.
Yeah.
6'3.5", 285. Only going to get bigger.
Big guy. Keep eating. All right, they got a locked in. They're in here in an ace formation. Ace will bring in the tight ends. They got tight ends on the edges, singles on the outside, running zone inside.
It is Felix, and Felix is hit at the line of scrimmage, but is able to fall forward to the 25-yard line and pick up a 3.
For you younger running backs out there, one of the most important characteristics is body lead, so that when you do get hit, you're going to go one direction. You're going to go forward and still gain a couple yards. You run up there straight up and down and you get collision, you're going backwards.
2nd and 7. 3 minutes, 10 seconds remaining.
4x4 box.
And he will
Zone
keep it again. Watson this time is the one delivering the hit instead of taking the hit. And Watson gets it down to, I think they're going to spot it at the 22.
Jaden Smith on the stop for the Raiders. That'll bring up a 3rd and 6.
Should be about 3rd and 5 for Camden.
We got a wildcat formation coming in. Number 10 is going to be the quarterback. That's our guy Felix, right? The freshman?
Yep.
They're going to run a little zone action.
They're in a wildcat formation now.
Oh, they're just going lead.
They keep it on the ground, and it is close to, not a first down, close to the 20, I was going to say. And they'll spot it at the 21. So it's going to be 4th down, but, you know, Camden might be in 4-down territory as we're getting close to the end of the first half. One thing to consider here, Camden will get the football first to start the second half. So they've got an opportunity here to close the first half with a score and open the second half with a score.
Which is always the goal, and they love that momentum because that's the way a lot of teams are playing that out. They're definitely going for a field goal here. This will be, what, a 37?
38-yard attempt for Nettles.
Yeah, it looks like about 38 is where they'll spot the football down.
And here we go. Create a little pressure.
This is Burke Nettles, the kicker. And it's Camden calling the timeout.
On the field.
So Camden coach Bob Spire maybe trying to ice his own kicker. Burke Nettles, maybe Burke Nettles likes to be iced on a cold night.
That's their first charge timeout of the
I think he just wants to ask him a quick question. Are you going to make this? Because if you're not, I'm going to just go for it.
Yourself a hamburger, hot dog, wax delicious hot dog.
While we've got a minute, I can talk about some of the other scores from 7A. Lowndes with a commanding 27-0 lead on Cherokee in the second quarter. It is Westlake in a tight one with North Paulding. Your boy, the Big Smooth, is behind right now by 4. Westlake leads that one 21-17. We've got Grayson in a tight one with South Forsyth. How about that? That score is 7-6 in the second quarter. Norcross trailing Mountain View 10-7. That one is in the third. It is Hillgrove leading Pebblebrook 14-0 in the second. At halftime, Mill Creek locked up in a battle with Brookwood 7-0 in a low-scoring affair there as Mill Creek leads that one. It is South Gwinnett with a lead on Milton. That is somewhat unexpected and surprising as South Gwinnett comes into the postseason sub 500 on the year. Milton at 8-2, and it's actually South Gwinnett with a 13-7 lead at halftime. Archer with a huge lead on Forsyth Central, 35-0 at the half. It is Tift County leading Roswell 21-0. Now that is interesting because one of the recent GPB games that I saw might have been the one last week. It wasn't the Roswell game they were covering, but they were talking about the Roswell game and mentioned that their running back Kamani Jett may have suffered a season-ending injury. So that would be a huge blow for the Roswell Hornets if that's the case. And certainly hope Kamani Jett, if he is injured, certainly hope he heals up quickly. He put on a show right here at Raider Valley a few weeks back. It is East Coweta leading Marietta 21-13. A bit of a surprise in that one. Parkview on top of Collins Hill 21-13. McEachern leading Noonan 14-17. Colquitt leading Etowah by 10, 13-3, and we will get back to the action here. They are going to go for it here on 4th down and 4. They will keep it on the ground, and it is, who is it? Jeb Carrier in the backfield?
It
Jeb
is.
Carrier makes the stop for the Raiders on 4th down, and Camden will turn it over on downs.
Walton Raiders 2018, Wildcats 14. Step back. Walton Raiders 28, Camden 14.
Great play by Jeb Carrier to get into the Camden backfield and make that stop. And Chris, that drive started at the Walton 38-yard line, and Camden unable to come away with points.
Yeah, excellent job and discipline by the defense, which obviously, you know, you can expect that from these guys. That's the type of defense that Walton is. They are a disciplined team. They'll stay consistent, and that's great to see when they're able to do that.
Walton wants to score again before the half. They're going to call a timeout here, though, before the ball is snapped. 1:43 left to go here in half number 1. So Walton with just under 2 minutes left to go. And after this timeout, they'll still have 2 more to try to move the football down the field and get another score on the board. But that was a huge stop by the Walton defense. Remember, we were talking about how Camden had an opportunity to close the first half with a score. They get the ball first to start the second half. They could have opened the second half with a score, and all of a sudden, we possibly have a tied football game. What a huge stop for the Raiders.
Great job by the Raiders. Again, it comes back to discipline and having a backbone where you bend and you don't break. And I'll tell you what, them going on a 4th and 4, I didn't watch any of the kicker kick before, you know, in warm-up, so I don't know what type of leg he has. But I can guarantee you that turned out, obviously, for the Walton Raider advantage. We'll see what they do. I don't see why you wouldn't take the foot off the gas pedal. You know, I think you come out running a little bit. You know, obviously, a minute 43, we have quick strike offense. We don't need to, like, go up top all the way, you know, right away. So we'll see what we come out with. I would imagine we run the ball first. They're going to be back anyway.
The Walton Raiders, the first round of the playoffs.
All right, Walton offense back out there, 1st down and 10 from their own 23-yard line. Kirksey's gonna get it to Soyoye, and he's gonna be hit at the 20 and dropped. So it is complete, but it is a loss of 3 yards.
Jalen Evans on the stop for the Wildcats.
And Camden's defense was not fooled on that one whatsoever.
For Austin Kirksey and company, with 1:22 remaining in the first half.
So 2nd down and 13 for the Raiders. Clock ticking, 1:15 now left to go.
All right, so we're in a 3-by-1 set, and they're going basically a 2 shell up top. They're going to bail the corners, though, because of the situation. They know it's throwing.
Play clock at 9. Ball is snapped. They give it to Soyoye. He had a big hole, but it closed up pretty quickly as he crossed the 20. He got to the 23, I believe, back to the what was the original line of scrimmage, but that's about it. And it's going to be 3rd down and 10.
I think the stick oh, there they go. They got it to the right one. So 3rd down and 10. We've taken off, you know, almost a minute worth of time. Took off about 50 seconds. You don't want to leave these guys too much time either. They've got quick strike ability, especially we're going to be playing soft. They can run the ball with Felix and get up a chunk of yards.
Yep. Both teams have shown very clearly they've got quick strike ability here in the first half. 54 seconds remain, 3rd and 10 for the Raiders when they come out of this timeout. And they will have 1 left, I believe. The scoreboard's still showing 2, but I believe Walton will have 1 left after this timeout.
With them two timeouts, you know, you figure if you run the ball here, you get them to burn a timeout, you know, if you don't make your first. And that's an asset burner. And that's somewhat of, in terms of the chess game, that's a smart move. But we'll see. I mean, you know, sometimes, you know, these offensive coordinators, they get hungry. So who knows? We got Teagan by himself to the field, and they're respecting it. They're putting a safety out there. So they got 2 up top safety, cover 2 shell. They're bailing the cornerback side.
Austin looking left. He's got plenty of time all day long for Austin. They're not even rushing him. dropping several guys back into coverage, and they try Blaylock. I think it was actually intended for Alford, and Blaylock tried to bring it in with his right hand, leaping up in the air. He's unable to come down with it. It's going to be 4th down and 10.
Well, I'm going to say that's the best protection we've had all night. But, of course, you know, they only rushed 2, I think.
2 or 3, yeah, and they weren't really rushing very hard. It didn't look like.
They were playing the screen is what they were playing. Yeah, we're able to see the replay here. We're actually watching. There was no rush at all. They were just playing spy technique. Stay right there at the line of scrimmage. Don't let anybody get past it.
So clock ticking.
Let it go.
And Pollock will get the punt away. And it is going to bounce at the 45. Take a Walton roll. What a punt by Pollock. And a great roll as he went with the rugby-style kick, or the Aussie rules football-style kick, whatever you want to call it. But tremendous roll for Pollock and the Raiders. And it is going to be downed at the
49-yard punt.
22-3-yard line. Go ahead, you were pointing something out, Chris.
Yeah, we're watching the replay here, and what they're doing is off the split receiver on the punt formation, they're actually bringing that guy on a blitz. And he's unaccounted for by the main structure, and when you have that delayed rugby-style punt, that puts a lot of pressure on it because the punter's eyes are not really outside noticing that. So he needs to hurry that and realize that. I hope coach, the special teams coach for Walton is noticing that.
So Camden has the football now. 1st down and 10, only 30 seconds remaining and just 1 timeout. And we'll see if they go to the air game here. They will hand it off to, I believe, it's not Felix. It is number 29 again, tripped up at the 35-yard line, and that is Javaris Edwards on the carry.
Let's see what they do here. Are they going to hurry up? Now, the clock stops here for the sticks to get reset. So the smart thing is get your play call. Usually about 10 seconds in between there that you get. Now, they started the clock just now, and they're calling a play. They better hustle because they only got 17 seconds left at this point.
They will throw a swing pass to the right side, and Drew Mihalik is there once again to wrap him up right near the line of scrimmage. What a play by Mihalik.
I don't care if it's prevent defense. They're going to come up and be physical on the outside. When you run bubble, when you run screen, when you run anything like that, Mihalik and Weston Gurr are way too good at defending them.
Yep, tremendous effort by the Walton defense towards the latter part of this first half of play. Didn't start out so great for the Raider defense, but they really kind of started to tighten up towards the end of the first half, and we go into the locker room at halftime with Walton leading this one 28-14, and the pace, we weren't sure, is this pace going to slow down? Is it going to pick up? Is it going to stay where it's at? Well, it definitely slowed down a little bit, but Walton kind of has to be happy with that first half of play as they head into the locker room.
Absolutely. The intensity's still there, but I think teams are figuring themselves out. They're getting their holes pegged a little bit. They're starting to figure each other out. So they were already self-adjusting it with the play calls, and we'll see what type of adjustments they make here in the second half to really put the cork in the run game especially.
Yep. Good first half of play. Walton on top by 2 scores as we go into the locker room. When we come out of the locker room, it's going to be Camden with the football first to start the second half. So we'll see if the Walton defense can keep the momentum that they built towards the end of the first half going into the second half. Chris and I are going to take a break here at halftime on Raider Vision. We'll let you enjoy the marching bands of the 2 schools, and we'll be back with second half action here in roughly 20 minutes or so.
Awesome. Oh, appreciate you, brother.
Ladies and gentlemen, Superintendent Dr. Will Hartman, Principal Dr. John Putnam, and the Camden County School System proudly present, under the field direction of drum leaders Gabriella Bikanowski and Rory English, the pride of Camden County, the Camden County High School Marching Wildcats. Director of Bands is Dr. Alan Smith, Associate Director Miss Sonia Williams, Visual Director Miss Erin Goff. Tonight's show is entitled To Infinity and Beyond. Musical selections include a medley, also Sprach Zarathustra, I Can See for Miles, and Happy Together. The second selection is Learn to Fly by the Foo Fighters. The Marching Wildcats will close with the mega hit, Starships. Drum majors, is your band ready? You may take the field for your halftime presentation. Ladies and gentlemen, the Camden County High School Marching Wildcats. The Marching Wildcats would like to offer a special thank you to the Camden County Band Booster Organization, parents, and the entire Camden County community for their continued support of our band program. Walton High School, thank you for being such wonderful hosts this evening.
Ladies and gentlemen, Principal Dr. Captain Miranda and the staff of Walton High School proudly present for your halftime entertainment the 2018 Sprayberry Southern Invitational Grand Champion Walton High School Marching Raider Band. Tonight, drum majors Joey King, Chloe Carlson, Kelsey DeRava, Anthony Hall, and the Walton Band present a few of their favorite things. Up first, the horse. How about that trombone section, ladies and gentlemen? Next, we feature our award-winning drum line as they play Paco. How about that percussion section? And now the band continues with the Wilson Pickett classic, Land of a Thousand Dances. As we conclude tonight's performance with the Walton fight song, we'd like to take a moment to salute all of our Raider athletes who have competed this fall, especially our girls volleyball team who just captured yet another state championship. Go Raiders!
A reminder to all our football and basketball fans, Coach Bo Abney and Coach Matt Kellerborn invite all students and fans to the Walton basketball gym immediately following tonight's football game to the Walton Basketball Hoops Madness Tip-Off Rally. We'll be introducing the Walton basketball team and having contests to support our Walton basketball program at the start of our 2018-2019 season. Please join us immediately after the game in the Walton main gym for Walton Basketball Hoops Madness.
quick reminder, Georgia Public Broadcasting is here this evening bringing you all of the action, live coverage as Walton takes on Camden County in the first round of the GHSA playoffs. Follow GPB on social media at GPB Sports to connect with the team. Nobody does high school football like GPB. We hope you enjoyed that halftime show with both fans. Halftime was brought to you in part by Steve Raymond Chevrolet. Steve Raymond Chevrolet, proud sponsors of Walton Raider football.
All right, back here at Raider Valley, getting ready to start the second half of play here with Walton leading Camden 28-14 at halftime. A tremendous first half of play between these two teams. I mean, they came out of the gate hot and furious, Chris, from the get-go, and then things finally kind of started to level out a little bit towards the end of that first half. But what a start to this game.
You know, you got a little worried about what kind of temperature this game was going to be about when you saw the first two drives, the kickoff return, of course. Yeah. And then when Camden got the ball, their second drive, they got stymied by having those flags. And that really was a momentum break for, obviously, Walton's advantage. And, you know, Walton was able to capitalize and then continue on their scoring streak, especially with KD having 2 catches for 2 9-route touchdowns. Yeah. I don't know how many yards it was, 124 or so. 115 yards. I mean, that's productive. You love those kind of stats. Sayoye, unbelievable stats. Yeah. When we were concerned the first drive of rushing, all of a sudden they said, forget the inside the gaps. Let's go outside the gaps, get them loosened up. And they also tightened their splits, and then we started hitting them up the gut as well. So it's almost like Coach Hirschfeld was feeling it on what to do, what the answers were. And so he was already into his halftime adjustments in the second quarter.
Yeah, it was great play calling by Coach Hirschfeld, as you mentioned, but great execution by the Walton offense. And also on the flip side, seemed like a kind of a questionable defensive strategy by Camden. I mean, they left Don Blaylock in some one-on-ones several times where Walton honestly could have taken better advantage of it than they did.
You know, as some of our discussion over halftime, as we were going over some of the points, you know, they would take they would match up so they could bring extra heat. So when they match up, they leave one safety over the top, and they take that one safety and put him over Dom. Well, guess what? KD's on the other side, and they didn't put him at the one receiver, who's the farthest outside receiver, which that would put him on a pretty good athlete. The cornerback, supposed to be a great athlete, right? They would put him at slot. That gives him the second man in, who's not as good of an athlete. And that with match play running 9 route, with no help over the top, exactly, that's questionable.
Yeah. And so the idea to bring extra heat is to force Kirksey maybe into some bad decisions, make him do something he doesn't want to do something sooner than he wants to do it. But maybe they don't realize Austin Kirksey's got a pretty good quarterback coach on the side.
Well, I'd hate to say it's all his quarterback coach. I help with refinement, but I will tell you this. Austin with ability and what he can do, I mean, the guy is out of this world in terms of his recognition, ability to react, his escapability, his staying relative and effective downfield with eyes in his body, and then making plays, which he did. Now, don't get me wrong. They put some heat on him, got a couple sacks now. You know, so they're going to live and die by their way to play.
Walton is pooching it. They're going to try to get on this one. It is going to unfortunately go out of bounds before the Raiders can get to it. And so Camden will get the football at the 35-yard line, which is right about where it went out of bounds anyway.
Dominic Blaylock in on the kick coverage.
So we got somebody inside the box that knows football, saw Dom playing one of the bullets, and the bullets normally your outside guy, and I'm going to go ahead and it's not Zorro up here. I'm gonna go ahead and let you guys know who it is. Bob McLeod. This guy, he's up in the cloud and he knows everything from this perch. He sees it all.
Okay, so I did not realize this is a penalty you can actually decline, and it looks like Camden is declining this penalty. And they're going to make Walton kick it over, but they're going to have to back it up 15 yards before they do this. Well, let's see. Are they? No, they're kicking off from the 35-yard line again. So I don't know what the heck just happened. We're basically just going to kick it again.
I think it's a 5-yard penalty is what they've done.
So they're kicking off from the 35 instead of the 40?
Right.
I thought it was a 15-yard penalty. Because, you know, the ball normally, if it's a touchback, gets spotted at the 20. On this situation, it gets spotted at the 35. They're going to try it again. It is kicked into the middle and covered up well that time by Camden. And looks like number 8 is the one who got on top of it, and that is Gary Brewington.
Down at the 37-yard
Similar result in terms of where it went out of bounds. So it's not too, we actually might have got a little advantage out of that.
First and 10.
So ball is going to be spotted at the 38-yard line of Camden.
And that actually is not that bad of a play when you consider the, you know, the fast threat that's back there returning the ball for them, that number 1, who I believe plays their cornerback.
They've been giving up such long kickoff returns. I mean, you might as well just pooch it from here on out. They keep it on the ground. This is Felix. Felix once again breaks a tackle at the line of scrimmage. Felix is going to be close to first down yardage. Looks like he's gotten to the stick, and they will move the chains. It is a first down for Camden.
So when you got that outside zone stretch, you know, commonly a defensive goal is to feather, and that's just stretch it out. But unfortunately with those big guys that they have in the blocking style and how well they're coached down there, they've been running the ball since they were born down in South Georgia. And when you do that, it's just looking for a crease. What great patience by Felix.
First and 10, Wildcats. Just shy of the 50-yard line. They give it to Felix once again. Felix letting the blocks develop and finds a hole in the line of scrimmage and gets to the 45 of Walton. So another nice pickup for Felix. This time it's 7 yards. It'll be second down and 3.
You know, you got to appreciate Felix's patience and vision there. He was real patient, picking his time and picking his hole, and then finally going ahead and pushing through. I'll tell you what, they're going blow for blow up there in the trenches. They feel like they can win it there.
This time the Raiders able to get in the backfield and drop Felix for a loss. It's funny because they had him back there and he almost was able to break free once again, but the Raiders wrap him up and drop him for a loss back at midfield.
Walton Raider number 22 is looking like he's in some pain. Hopefully he'll be able to shake that off. It looks like it's a wrist injury of some sort.
That is Jeb Carrier. He's going to remain in the football game.
Thank you, Mr. Abraham.
Doing exactly what defense players should, be tough and physical, just stand there no matter what.
Looks like Gibson needs a little extra help out here. He's got 2 guys lined up handling the ball by himself here. But flag comes in as the ball is snapped on 3rd down and 8. And it's going to go against Camden.
Ball starts to call against the Wildcats.
So that'll back them up 5. It'll be 3rd down and 13.
You know, for fluid offense, this is exactly what Camden does not want to have. This is where, you know, the break of momentum happened in the first half. Here they go. They got a tight set 2-by-2.
But they will go to the passing game as he drops back, looks over the middle. That one is incomplete, and it looked like it might have been overthrown to the point where there's a possibility of an interception because there were some guys right behind the play, but it falls incomplete. It's going to be 4th down and 13 for Camden, and they'll be forced to punt it away.
Yeah, that's one of those things. Sometimes it's hard to track the ball when you see the receiver coming and you know who threw the ball, so you see the ball coming, but then you really quick go to the receiver and you start tracking the receiver. It's hard to keep both in your line of sight.
Dom standing back at the 20, and he's going to call for the fair catch, and he's going to have to just let this one hit and get out of the way. Better keep getting out of the way as the ball keeps rolling back towards the Walton Raiders, and it's going to be down at the 13-yard line. So that's where Walton will take over with their first possession.
That's a 7-yard loss by not catching the ball, and that's a significant loss. I mean, that's 7% of the field that you just lost.
Saw the same thing happen in the first half where Dom thought one was going to hit and bounce and roll into the end zone and ended up getting down at the 4-yard line. But Walton turned that into a 96-yard touchdown drive. We'll see if they can make it an 87-yard touchdown drive this time.
They obviously were thinking clock on that, and they wanted more field availability so they can drain more clock off. That's why they wanted 96 yards. All right, so now, and look, they're going tight set too. They got a tight end, they got a flex back, and they got 2 wide receiver set. So both OCs went in with the same game plan for the second half.
So yeah, hit the backfield. He's trying to break loose, but he ends up losing big yardage back inside the 5-yard line to the 4, and that is a big loss of 9 yards. So second down and 19 coming up.
I wish Austin could have got a chip block on that one. We just missed that.
That'll bring up a second down for the Raiders.
9:27 left to go.
All right, here we go.
Third quarter.
We're in a protective mode here. We got the same type, tight end and flex. We're just going with the inside zone. It's just a safety precaution so that we can get the ball with a little bit of space. So now we got a third down and long and see what we can do with that. But it's not as bad as the second long we were just in.
Yeah, that's right. Just shy of the 10-yard line now. This gives the Walton offense a little bit of room to work with here.
That'll bring up a third and long 14 for the Raiders.
All right, here we go. We're in a 2x2 set here. A little bit more exciting of a set for you guys at home. Probably going to have somewhat of a pass, but I guarantee you it's probably going to be a little bit quicker. We are tight set. Look at our splits. Our splits are nice and tight, meaning that we don't want to let anybody come through the middle, which we were getting backer pressure. So here we go. They're bringing heat again off the edge.
3rd and 14. Kirksey looking over the middle. It looked like there's a little bit of hand fighting, and a flag comes in late. And boy, I tell you what, it was a little bit of hand fighting, Chris. And as an offensive guy, I'm sure you love to see that flag. I'm a DB. I don't know about that one. It was going both ways a little bit. And what I really don't like about it, if you're a Camden fan, is that flag, it kind of came in late. But obviously we'll take it as Walton Raiders. We'll certainly take it.
I was, the DB had inside leverage. I would have liked to see that ball a little bit more outside, but we couldn't bend in because he had too much physical contact on holding Mikey Farr there. So you're going to get that call. It's a little bit. Oh, there you see Coach Spire making some waves over there about the fact that that was such a late flag. Probably complaining originally just about the flag in general. He didn't think that it was one-sided.
So that gives the Raiders an automatic first down. They spot the ball at the 24-yard line now. 1st and 10 for Walton.
All right, we got a 3x1 set. We'll see what their shift is here. Now it's 1st and 10, so it looks like everything will probably go back to normal. Looks like we got another penalty here, and it's probably on Coach Spire.
Yeah, this might be an unsportsmanlike. And he is still fired up, and you can hear the Camden fans not liking these calls.
Good for another Walton Raider first down.
He needs one of those guys to grab his belt. You know how they normally do, like Coach Kirby, the get-back coach, and grab his belt and pull him back. We're in a 3x1 set. What do we got? We got match play. A little bit of help on top of number 3 to the trip side. That's the most inside wide receiver, the number 3. The outside is number 1. Then next it'd be number 2. And then the most inside guy would be your 3rd guy. So we call that number 3.
So it is 1st down and 10, now spotted at the 39-yard line.
Definitely bringing pressure up the middle. Here he comes.
Kirksey looking left. He's going to release football, and it is intended for Alford. Falls incomplete as KD could not haul that one in. So it'll be 2nd down and 10.
So we had a little bender inside because they leave no safety help in the middle, and that's where we take our bender inside. And unfortunately, we weren't able to haul that in. We looked like out of the break we had a little bit of stumble, and we're actually watching the replay here. He did. He had a hard post, and we just missed him. Actually, he didn't have any stumble. It was just a hard cut.
So 2nd down and 10 for the Raiders.
We're going back to that 3x1 set, getting the same thing, match play with help over the top of the trips, single pressed up to the field, and there we go.
To Soyoye. He's got a big hole across the 50, the 40, the 35, 30, 25. DJ Soyoye inside the 10, finally tracked down from behind inside the 5-yard line of Camden. They're going to spot him down at the 1-yard line.
Great run. You split him out, get him worried about passing, and next thing you know, his DJ's up the middle. I tell you what, the boxing match, a lot of times what you do in boxing, you're not just sitting there brawling. It's I'm putting a punch here, and all of a sudden I hit you over here. And Chris is just doing those 1-2 punches. And that is
Number
DJ,
8,
man.
Julian
Unbelievable.
Parker,
Actually, he
in
showed some
for the
speed there that I didn't know he had.
That is
Unbelievable.
a 60-yard run by DJ Soyoye.
Trey Middleton in the game for the Raiders.
He tried to make a case for a touchdown, and it wasn't. But he wanted it. I wanted it.
Mikey Farr.
Well, he may get it here. It's going to be first down and goal from the 1.
Looks like we've got Wildcat in with Dom at quarterback.
So it's Dom in there. Middleton is lined up right behind the offensive tackle. Dom's going to keep it. He's going to get hit in the backfield, and Dom is going to be dragged down for a 5-yard loss back at the 6-yard line.
I think they knew the statistical chance of Dom having the ball, and is 102%, that he was going to keep the ball. At least that's what the stats have shown over the course of the year.
About 7:20 remaining in the third quarter.
So
this definitely changes the dynamic, being 2nd and 6, for the touchdown.
we got Austin back in the game.
So I think they call that 2nd and goal. Yeah, we're going to be burning one here because we got 4 seconds left on the play clock.
So play clock winds down. Walton does call that timeout.
Timeout
6:55 left to go.
It's smart. I like to see that. They're already in like game understanding. Don't call the timeout, on confusion early. Let the play clock burn down. You see a lot of maturity. You got a young coaching staff, but mature as to understanding the game, the full part of the game, which is, a case like that. Well, we just took another 12 seconds off the clock when they probably knew they already wanted to burn the timeout.
For only $3.
So we'll see what Coach Hirschfield and the Walton Raiders dial up here for 2nd and goal from the 6-yard line. Before they called the timeout, Kirksey was back in the ball game. So we'll see if they stick with that, with Austin back in there at quarterback and get away from the Wildcat.
I think the Wildcat comes into play at that 3-yard line and in. I think, out here 2nd and 6, you need more of a dynamic option, which is run and pass. And obviously Austin gives that to you. Now, I will remind everybody, I did have Dominic Blaylock for one session about 7 years ago where I taught him how to pass. And I'm going to tell you something. If you talk about ROI, return on investment, John Woods paid for one session, and that guy is probably 9 for 9 over the course of his time. It paid off.
You're not kidding. We got the stats here for the season, and you look at the guys, other than the 2 quarterbacks who have thrown the football so far this season for the Raiders, other than Austin Kirksey and Zach Roseman, you've got Dom Blaylock, 4 of 4. You've got Kendall Alford, 2 of 3 passing, and Charlie Pollock has completed both of the passes he's attempted. So the non-quarterbacks for Walton are 8 of 9 throwing the football on the season.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, for 180 yards.
I remember those 2 Pollock throws. You did. They were at moments you didn't expect.
They stayed in the air for a long time, didn't they?
They were up there for a minute. I got to teach him
his
that.
punts.
Exactly. I need to change his personality on that. His ball signature needs to be a little bit flatter and straight to his target. Get there a little earlier. Because as a receiver, you wait for that ball. You're like, come on, get to me.
Maybe you give him one free session.
Absolutely, 100%. Come on.
So here we go, back to the action as Walton lines up here. It is Kirksey in there at quarterback. Dom is in the backfield with him.
All right, I like to see that. You don't get to see that often.
They will fake it to Dom. Kirksey's going to keep it himself. He is met at the 6-yard line, which was the line of scrimmage, but he falls ahead to the 4. So now it's going to be 3rd and goal from the 4-yard line.
So we get a third of the yards that we need. Now we need 4 yards, 3rd down and 4. So this will be interesting what we do with this. There's not too much of a run option here. You really want to put something in the pass, but you're definitely going to have to play action it. You're definitely going to have some type of zone read.
Walton
all right.
Definitely letting the clock wind down under 10 on the play clock.
Good point made. We got a tackle eligible on the right, but it's a down block there. Just a stretch play.
Dom on the jet sweep. Dom fighting for the goal line. Dom gets to the end zone. A touchdown for the Raiders.
That will be good for Walton.
I was about to say, I was starting to question the ref. I saw his foot go down, and I saw only one arm go up, and I didn't know what he was doing, but he was apparently asking for the ball.
Ball just had to cross the plane, and Dom barely got it across as he was met right at the goal line, but just enough across the goal line for Dom. As we see the replay here, you'll see him get wrapped up, and he actually stepped 1 foot into the end zone, like you said, and it is a Walton touchdown.
I tell you, Tim, you know, you're not going to find a player with more heart. Fire, fire, fire. Let's see what happens. Where's our guys?
Snap was bobbled. Polinsky just had to pick it up and try to make something out of it, and it falls incomplete.
With 6:03 remaining in the third quarter, Walton Raiders
So
34.
the score will stay 34-14. Walton leading by 20. We're going to be able to get a look at it here on our delay of the stream. But yeah, the snap was low by Luke Payne, and Polinsky tried to pick it up and do something with it.
I'm going to tell you something. The snapper needs to figure out what he's doing, because he just got every single one of them blowing up, because he snapped it right on clap, and they know what's going on. Did you? Because 4 of our guys got absolutely blown out. So what they're doing is they know something about the time that normally we get into a groove, and the guy back there taps, and he says he does this with his hand, the placement holder, and they know to go off right away. They blew that center up. Guys, we have Dominic Blaylock in the game. What that means, and bullet formation all the way across from the hash, I think you can expect a push coming at number 15. That's their right wing back sitting on the 35-yard line. I think you can expect a push coming to the right wing, number 15 on the 35-yard line. That is where Dominic Blaylock is lined up over here on the left side. Here it comes. Like I said, it goes with the 26.
Yep. Good job by Camden to receive that one and just go right down to the ground. That's Caleb Dawson.
Jordan Dake.
Well, apparently it's Jordan Dake, number 20. I thought it was 26. You know I can't see these numbers, right?
Yeah, you don't have your glasses on.
I know, but those are reading glasses. They're not going to tell me what those numbers are on this Camden jersey. I got our guys. I know our guys. I can't read these Camden jerseys. I got to squint so hard I can barely. Yeah,
Number 10, Jamie Felix.
I can't read.
You know, next year I'm going to bring you theater glasses.
Logan Watson, quarterback.
All right, we got a 2x2 set. They're getting more aggressive with their passing sets, and we're in a 2 shell. Just means cover 2. They stretch and they're going to throw it.
He's
looking
got time,
deep.
Steps up into the pocket,
Nope.
and that one is incomplete, short.
This is probably why they don't throw it as often. They're not super effective, and I can guarantee you, Coach Bob Spire, he's a great coach, been coaching for years. This offseason, I'm not going to say right now they're going to have offseason start them off. I'm just saying this offseason he's going to square that and address that issue, because that's a gap in being able to win this state. You have to be able to throw efficiently, especially when you're behind like this.
Down under 6 minutes left to go, third quarter.
2nd and 10. We're sitting here looking at a cover 2 shot, but we got aggressive. We actually went to a cover 1 roll. And they run a quarterback keep up the middle.
Logan Watson keeps it himself, gets to midfield. So it'll be 3rd down and 3 now for Camden.
And what's interesting there, we rolled to cover one, which means you're going to have more guys in the box. And still picked up some pretty positive yards. Here they're rolling to cover 1 again.
They give it to, actually it's Watson again, keeping it himself.
Holding.
And
Where's the call?
Watson has a big gain inside the Walton 30. The flag comes in over here on the near sideline. And we do think it is going to be a hold. We'll see what the officials say.
It was pretty bad. I'll tell you, they held one of our linebackers, outside linebackers, and it wasn't there. It was more inside. It was about 7 yards beneath that.
Looks like holding's the call against the Wildcats.
So there may have been 2 then. They may have missed the first one you were talking about and picked up another one somewhere further down the field. But yeah, holding is a spot foul. It's you're supposed to throw the flag where the penalty happened.
Looks like we've got Dominic Blaylock coming in here at safety. All right, so
it'll be a 1st and 10 for the Wildcats.
we're going to go to a cover 2 shell. That's what it's going to be. 2x2 set by the offense.
So Camden with a first down at the Walton 46-yard line. And they are going to look to pass.
Holding.
Now he's going to run. That is Watson sliding down at the 35-yard line. And that is going to be enough for a first down. However, there is a flag over here near the Walton sideline again.
Now, what's interesting to me, I saw the holding on the opposite side of the field, the left tackle again.
Well, our ref in the booth up here is saying it might have been an ineligible receiver downfield.
And Gibson's saying the same thing, that it's going to be waved off because the pass never went down.
Yeah, they wave off the flag. So it's going to be a first down for Camden at the 35-yard line of Walton.
First and 10 from the 35-yard line for the Wildcats.
All right, we're going with the same defensive call. Oh no, we'll be coming down in cover 1 because we're leaving that guy too far open. Yeah, it's cover 1.
Watson hands it off to Felix this time. He's met at the line of scrimmage. Actually, he didn't even make it to the line of scrimmage. He is dropped for a loss of a yard, maybe a little bit more than a yard, and it's going to be second and long for Camden.
That'll bring up a second.
All right, here they go.
11.
A much more truer of a pass situation, 2nd and 12, but they could go with that quarterback keep. Oh, they're going zone, throw.
They fake the handoff.
All right.
Watson escapes the rush. He is flushed out of the pocket right side, tries to complete a pass over here near the sideline. It's incomplete yet again. Good coverage that time by B.J. Gibson. And it's going to be 3rd down and 12 now.
You know, that's one of the main goals that you want to have as a defense. Whenever if somebody drops back to pass, you want to create pressure, penetrate, get the quarterback to move. As soon as you get him to not throw on time and start to move, the chips on the poker table definitely come to you. We got an empty backfield here. That means we got a 3-by-2. You can expect probably a pass. Yeah.
He is looking over the middle, and that one is almost picked. Is it picked by Blaylock? The officials are saying incomplete. Blaylock came in, and he thinks he pulled that thing off the ground. We're going to get a look at this one, Chris, because we have a delay on our stream. And I think Don Blaylock, for him to be that demonstrative, I think Don Blaylock picked this thing off the turf.
All right, we're going to get a good shot here to be able to watch it.
Look at him fly in, and Dom, all the Walton players that were back there near that play were so certain that Dom picked that thing off the turf. What a play by Dom, but the officials say no, and it's 4th down and 12.
All right, they got stack receivers. Here we go, the 6.
Watson is going to complete it at the line of scrimmage, but looks like Malik Gibson right there to make the stop on 4th down, and Camden will turn it over on down.
Malik definitely sniffed that one out. You know, one of those things, whenever you see a quarterback kind of keep a high chin and not really looking, you start to feel the screen. Like he's got his chin up and he's kind of prancing, and then all of a sudden the eyes aren't floating like reading. You start to feel the screen. Great job by Malik to sniff that out.
So you can't really throw screens on this Walton defense, can you?
I think, wait, this just in. On my sheet it says no. Don't do it.
Tremendous job yet again covering the screen pass. And Malik Adams didn't just cover it, he laid the wood on that play for the Raiders. So Camden, with the 2 quick touchdowns in the first quarter, shut out since then. Now, a lot of credit to the Walton defense, but Camden has really shot themselves in the foot with so many penalties when they've had the football.
Absolutely. Not only the penalties, but I mean, gives a lot of credit to the Walton defensive coaching staff to sit in there and draw up some adjustments. When they feel the run coming, guess what they do? They roll down a safety, roll one over the top, and that means they're going to be in a cover 1, and that just gives them extra pressure more into the box, where Camden was finding success in those first 2 drives.
A lot of games going on around the state. First Friday night of playoff football here in the state of Georgia. There was one game last night a Thursday night playoff game, but most of the teams in action tonight. It is Lowndes leading Cherokee 48-0 in the third quarter. Not a big surprise there. Westlake leading North Paulding 28-17. That one's in the fourth, still a game. Grayson on top of South Forsyth 17-6. Mountain View leading Norcross by a narrow margin 23-21. Hillgrove a 2-touchdown lead on Pebblebrook, and that one's interesting because the winner of this game would face the winner of that game. Right now, if the scores hold, looks like it's going to be Walton Hillgrove at Hillgrove next Friday night, Hillgrove being the higher seed. It is Brookwood and Mill Creek. Look at that one, 7-7 in the fourth quarter between Brookwood and Mill Creek. Marietta still trailing 21-13.
And a quick note on Marietta. Marietta, you know, Harrison Bailey is out. The freshman is in. I watched some film on him. He's good, but is he ready, you know, to go deep in a playoff? All right, we're in a 3-by-1 set. It'll be interesting if we actually throw this ball. They're going match with no help. They're going match with no help on top. They're putting extra pressure.
They hand it off. It is Soyoye, and he is met at the line of scrimmage, gets nowhere. In fact, it looks like he may have lost a yard.
So viewers at home, you know, just so you know, whenever you run a coverage, you can bring 4 guys safely and still run your coverage without any cracks. But I'm going to tell you right now, when you start to see a 1 high safety and then run cover 1, that means they can bring 1 guy. And they could potentially bring 2 if your running back stays in. When you go cover 0 like they just did, you can put everybody interested in the box, which is 6 guys plus a potential one. So here we go. Now they got help on top. They got 2 safeties up top. They're going more of that 2 shell. You can see the corners on the outside shade. 3-by-1 set for Walton. We're throwing.
Kirksey is forced out of the pocket once again. He's got positive yardage this time and runs out of bounds over there on the Camden sideline. Picks up a couple before he's forced out of bounds. It's going to be 3rd down and 9 now.
9.
Better, but we'd like better than better. But 3rd and 9 is better than 3rd and 12 or something that of a mistake for forcing a ball. But they cause quick pressure. They do a great job. They only brought 4 guys there, and they do a great job of penetrating. They're an aggressive defense. Walton's just been able to answer when the time has come. Creating press now.
Alford and Farr here to the near side, and that is, I believe, Blaylock to the wide side, or the far side rather. Low snap handled by Kirksey. Low pass is incomplete, but it might have been a lateral, and I think it is. They're going to spot it back there. So good job by Dom to get on top of that football, but now it is a punting situation for the Raiders.
Yeah, that's frustrating. Always a big risk to not take a big step back as a quarterback to make sure that you're not throwing a lateral. I'm not a big fan of throwing laterals. I'd like to keep it where it's a little bit forward, so it's for sure a pass.
No sense in doing it, really, unless you're going to throw the double pass.
We don't have an extra cover guy here on the outside. Be interesting just to throw this.
Pollock instead punts it away. It is a low kick that's going to bounce and roll in Walton's favor. Now going to be down at the 33-yard line.
Well, I tell you, they run a high-risk punt team or punt block team because they leave 2 guys up top with only 1 guy covering them. You could easily run some sort of screen there because those guys are coming off the edge. Wide open. As we, just so you guys at home know, we're watching the replay and we're able to see that. And Mr. English has promised replayability in 2019.
Needs volunteers. Hey, if you are watching this and you like what Pete English is able to bring you through Raider Vision, we're all just kind of along for the ride. Pete's the guy who puts everything together and makes it all happen. Pete needs volunteers. Every year we've got several different positions available. The stat crew always needs an extra hand. We can always add an extra camera as Camden keeps it on the ground, hands it off to Jamie Felix. He is going to pick up a yard. It's going to be 2nd down and 9. But, the pay is good. And when I say good, I mean it is some really good barbecue, isn't it?
I love that barbecue. I know Pete was talking about potentially if somebody could donate a box of donuts to just add a little bit of extra.
He found himself a little bit of extra that he only found for himself tonight, we noticed.
I was jealous over that big old chunk of chocolate cake yet.
They keep it on the ground once again. It is Felix, or it's not Felix, rather. It is Caleb Keaton on the carry for Camden.
Your favorite statement. You've been practicing all week. I'll tell you, when you go through your fa la 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 and you do your things before we get started, I know I joke around about it, but because you can do things like that, I'm somewhat jealous.
Yep, it was Caleb Keaton. As we see the replay here on the jet sweep. Now Camden with a 3rd down and 3 situation. We are down under 2 minutes left to play in the 3rd quarter.
Cover 2 shell. They try to go to up and go.
They're going to go to the air, and this one is incomplete. Well defended over there by the Raiders. And it is going to be 4th down and 3 now. Spencer on the coverage for Walton.
And I'm going to tell you something. That quarterback's pretty smart. A lot of quarterbacks, especially in high school, they won't be able to notice what that quarterback noticed. There was a cover 2 shell. They ran a pump and go, and he noticed that if you're in you have a cover 2 shell, you only have one spot to put that. You put that ball up, the cover 2 safety is going to be able to get it. He put it in the hole, and that was actually a smart placement. Very smart. QBIQ.
Another 4th down here for Camden. They've turned it over on downs twice. Will this be the 3rd time? They go
Cover
to the air
3
once
bail.
again, and look at the hit by Mihalik to separate the receiver from the football. Camden once again turns it over on downs, and Drew Mihalik once again comes through.
Well, I'm going to tell you, Mihalik and Weston Gurr are so aggressive. That outside containment, the outside play by those guys. What a dream for a coach to be able to coach those guys. And don't get me wrong, I know they're coached extremely well. The reason they're so great, as a player, is because the coach putting them in great positions to make plays.
They are 97-0 in the state of Georgia. They won the national championship last year. And they are the defending state champions 4 times in a row.
Oh,
congratulations, Lady Raiders.
We were wondering what was Mark Aston talking about. He's talking about the Walton girls volleyball team. They have reeled off 97 straight wins and I don't know how many state championships in a row. There's a pass complete to Katie Alford over the middle. Shakes the tackler. Alford, 10-5, stretches for the goal line. Touchdown, K.D. Alford, 40 yards, and another Walton score.
Tim, do you know what you do when you see cover 0? Which is no help over the top at all? You do that.
That right there, yes. I don't like being quizzed and put on the spot.
There was no help over the top, so they run a little jet, get a little commitment by the linebackers. And jet means you have a running back cross the quarterback's face, and he puts the ball in his stomach, meaning keep the linebackers there. And the next thing you know is you throw the ball over the top because there was no safeties, and they get hit deep. We just got the block kicked, or the kick blocked, and it fell short and wasn't able to go through the field goal post. So that's the 2nd time we have not had an extra point.
Yeah. There was a muffed snap/hold the last time. This time it's blocked, and Walton is going to lead this one 40-14 with 1:25 left to go here in the 3rd quarter. You want to see a dominating performance? Take a look at K.D. Alford. 3 catches, 155 yards, 3 touchdowns. I mean, DJ Soyoye, these are unofficial stats, but they're pretty close. DJ Soyoye, 10 carries, 183 yards. How about Austin Kirksey? 8 of 12, 234 yards, and 4 touchdowns. Again, pretty unofficial probably, but not too far off on those stats.
Unofficial, but efficient.
Extremely efficient by the Walton offense.
I'm going to tell you it's exciting. I'll tell you what's not exciting is they have to improve their extra point game, their field goal team. They are getting absolutely destroyed at the line of scrimmage.
Well, and it goes all the way back to the Roswell game. They had 2 kicks blocked in that game.
Somebody has noticed something, and I haven't studied. I'm not really a special team studier, but I'm going to tell you, other teams are noticing something.
Yeah, and the deeper you go into the playoffs, the tighter the games get, and the more important things like extra points become, because as we've already talked about many times here on Raider Vision, the key to winning football games is to outscore your opponents, even if it's just by 1 point, right?
if there's like, say, 6 items of reasons you're going to win a game, that's number one. Squeeze, because now you like that, because there's nothing they can do about that. Whenever they have something that's super delayed or making a huge cutback, that's normally very good for the kick team or kick cover team.
Caleb Keaton collects the kick inside the Camden 10, and a good job by the Walton kick coverage unit to corral him and take him down.
Caleb Keaton karate chopping words like he's like the master Chuck Norris.
I got as many cuss sounds in there as I could. So Camden will start at their 11-yard line this time. Worst field position of the night for the Wildcats.
All right, let's see what the defense can do here, especially with the advantage down. We're going cover one pressure in the box. You guys notice it here. They're bailing the corners. You got quarterback keep. It's no gain.
Watson keeping the football, and he got to the line of scrimmage, but that is it.
Number 25, Weston.
You know, Tim, I think you sit at home, and I think you go in front of the mirror and you say, and you challenge yourself with certain terms and things to say, just, you know, word twists, and you just knock it out of the park.
Yeah, I absolutely don't. Sit at home and talk
You
to
mean
my
this
dog.
is just natural? All right, we've got motion zone. All right, here we go.
Watson
Quarterback
on the carry, has a big hole up the middle, and he is hit right after he picks up first down yardage.
So it's going to stop the clock, give them a little bit of advantage for a stick change, get the play call in. It's a 10-second stoppage normally. Get the play call in. They're already in their 2-minute, which is smart. He's got to get, come on, that's going to be faster. They just lost about 10 seconds there off the clock by doing all that.
Camden at their 23. They'll bring a man in motion left to right.
Jet.
They will hand it to him on the jet sweep. He's going to try to turn the corner. He gets hit hard by B.J. Gibson after picking up about 5 yards on the carry. It's going to be 2nd down and 5 as we're nearing the end of quarter number 3.
Trey Middleton got actually shut down there pretty good. He was flowing hard, and he actually got block picked him up pretty stiffly, but B.J. Gibson was able to come up and make a physical tackle. All right, we got a 2-by-2 set. Now, are we covered up there, or is he enough back? Well, it doesn't matter. He's running the ball.
They hand it off. It is number 29 on the carry, and look who's there to make the stop. Drew Mihalik comes up to drop Javaris Edwards for no gain, maybe even lost a yard. It's going to be 3rd down and 6 now for Camden. And that will do it for the 3rd quarter of play. At the end of 3, Walton leading Camden 40-14 as we head to the 4th quarter.
I'll tell you what, I just love watching Mihalik and Weston Gurr play. I love watching Walton defense play. But those guys, man, I love how great they play disciplined football, positioned football. Everything is kept within them. They don't let anything outside of them. I appreciate that type of football.
They're tremendous football players. Work really hard in the weight room, in the classroom, and you know, the kind of guys that are probably a coach's dream, and they're going to be a coach's dream on the next level. They have small offers, you know, from smaller schools, but we talk about Katie Alford all the time. Why doesn't this guy have more offers? I would say the same thing for Weston Gurr and Drew Mihalik. Who wouldn't want a guy like those two guys on your team?
Well, there's a thing about, you know, Division One AA, or I guess it's with the FBS or FCS. But, you know, they're always, those scholarship offers will always go to the guys that are sized correctly, speed correctly, and those guys just, they come under those scales just a little bit. Now, once you see kind of after signing day happens, you realize where everybody's going and the commitments go. Then the first people on those ladders get taken, and you know, you might have offered somebody who was our first on yours, but they went somewhere. All of a sudden, the shakeout, they could pick up an offer.
Spot opens up.
Those offers could happen. So hope is still out there, but there's no doubt if those guys want to play college football, there's like 861 college teams out there. They can play. It's just a question or not. You know, quite often they say never go to the top team, the top level team that offers you, because you know, if you do that, you put a high risk on not playing ever again.
Right.
But if you go to like the 2nd or 3rd team that's offered you, you're probably in a better placement of being able to play again. you know, it's a little bit of a game of that scholarshiping or you know, understanding how valuable you can be. A guy gave me great advice. He said, go where you're going to play early.
3rd down and 6 for Camden. They throw the tunnel screen, and guess what? We've talked about it over and over. You cannot do that against this Walton defense coached by Tim Ewing. They are all over it every single time, and they were again right there.
Coach Ewing just, he knows some special sauce about how to defend the screen. He does a great job. And I forgot to run down to Coach Spire and say, hey, listen, footnote, don't run the screen against Walton.
I'm glad you forgot. That was Jaden Smith, I believe, was the first guy in on that stop for the Raiders. It's going to be 4th and 11. Camden will punt it away. Blaylock standing at the Walton 45-yard line.
You know, be great? A low kick.
Returnable kick. Catch it. You know, don't let it hit and roll. There he goes. He catches it at the 45, looking for a hole. He found one. Dom Blaylock up to midfield. Only a 5-yard return, but I tell you what, you're not going to see many more exciting 5-yard returns than that one right there by Dom Blaylock as he gets the ball out to midfield for the Raiders.
Man, he's fun to watch, even in 5 yards. And, you know, the anticipation of when you finally see one that's not fair caught. Yeah. And you just wonder what's going to happen. He makes about 5 guys miss.
He was surrounded by 5 guys, you're right. It reminds me of one of my favorite play-by-play calls that I've ever seen. It was actually from a soccer match of whatever team Messi was on out in Spain. You know, I don't know if it's Barcelona or what team he was on. But he made this move where he was surrounded by a couple guys. He ended up taking the ball down the field and scoring. And I got to give you this play-by-play call after this play by the guy. It was outstanding.
By the way, we got Zach Roseman in the game.
Roseman in there is going to hand it off to Soyoye, who's going to be wrapped up right at the line of scrimmage. They're going to spot him a yard forward, though, for a pickup of 1. So Messi is contained by these 2 guys, has nowhere to go. Ends up taking the ball through those 2 guys, going down the field and scoring. And the play-by-play call went something like this. Hang on, I can't. I got to make sure I remember it good before I do it. I'll do it after this play. It was outstanding.
I can't wait to hear the anticipation. Oh no, you're going to do it for sure.
I'm going to try. I'll try.
2-by-1 set with the flex, and we got the running back in the backfield. Here we go, running jet sweep. He can't get outside.
It is Patel on the jet sweep, and he's going to be wrapped up back at the 46-yard line. So a loss of 4 yards.
3rd down.
I'm going to have to talk to Zach Roseman about how to run out some fakes, because we create extra pressure on the defense to defend us if we actually execute our fakes correctly.
Are you ready for the English
go.
soccer? Okay, play-by-play. Here it was. And it was Messi. He was in a telephone box, and it was locked, and there was a chain around it. And he still got out and made the play and scored the goal. So the guy who actually did it way better than that, obviously, but it was a brilliant play.
That was fantastic because no one can get out of that except for Messi and that escape artist who does the
Houdini.
Yeah, that guy.
Oh,
we're throwing it, baby.
The handoff and tries to complete it out here to the right side, but Camden shows signs of what the Walton defense does on those short passing routes, and they come in and break it up as it was intended for Drew Pritz. So it's going to be 4th down now for the Raiders. 9:43 left to go in the 4th quarter, and they'll have to punt the football away.
You know, the one question I have about that is it was 4th and 14, and we had a flat pass on there. Wasn't going to gain us much anyway. You know, we're still I would rather run the ball and burn clock. But I get it. I understand. All right, so here we go. Looks like we got pressure coming. Look, coming off, peeling off. Number 2 is open. We go ahead and punt it. We get it away on time. Great punt.
And
great job.
Camden return man fields it at the, looks like they'll spot it at the 19.
Just inside that 20-yard line. That's a 46-yard punt for Charlie Pollock.
So 9:35 now left to go in the football game.
Though we subbed in some guys on offense, looks like all our starters are still on defense,
Looks like we have a
which is a
television
smart thing because
timeout.
you want to stymie.
So there is going to be a timeout for GPB. They got to pay the bills.
We're going to take us to our station break, and we got to pay our own bills.
So 40-14 the score. Walton looks like they should be able to hang on to this one, but you never know. I mean, we've seen this Camden County offense. We haven't seen it since the first quarter, but in that first quarter, we saw them with the ability to strike very, very quickly. Whoever comes away a winner here tonight will be playing at Hillgrove next Friday night, because Hillgrove was a winner tonight over Pebblebrook. Maybe not by the margin you would have thought when you looked at that matchup at first. It is 21-7 the final. So Hillgrove beats Pebblebrook to advance by 2 touchdowns. So that is one final that we have so far from tonight. Got some other good games, close matchups going on from around 7A, and I can give you some of those scores here in just a moment as my screen refreshes. This one, Norcross leading Mountain View by 1 in the fourth quarter, 24-23. It was, we had a tight game between Brookwood and Mill Creek, and it's still tight. Actually, it's a final in overtime. Mill Creek won that one by a field goal, 13-10 over Brookwood. So Mill Creek, who Walton faced in the first game of the season in the Corky Co Classic, advances to round 2. Another tight game. Look at this one. Milton leading South Gwinnett 14-13 in the fourth quarter, rather. So some good close ball games going on. Not one right here, right now tonight, but some pretty close ones going on around the state as they will keep it. I think it's Watson.
So the clock will burn on that one. That's good. Hey, if you get a chance, if you can find Glen Academy, where Rocky Hidalgo has gone, former Walton Raider coach.
I will have to go down the scoreboard just a bit for that one, but I'm glad you mentioned that. I always like to check on Rocky, see how he's doing. It is 2nd down and 4 now for
reverse pass.
Camden. They're going to go
this.
with the flea flicker, and that one had the potential to be intercepted as Gibson was able to catch up to the play. He was beaten bad as he bit on the fakes, but the ball stayed in the air long enough. He had time to catch up, but it is still completed, and it is going to be a first down for Camden inside Walton territory.
They did a double reverse pass. Interesting, kind of like a well thought out flea flicker.
30-yard pass completion.
By the way, Tiff County beat 42 Roswell. Did you get that one? 42-7.
Wow, yeah. So I'm assuming Roswell was without Kamani Jet in that game.
Yeah, he was injured. We're in a cover 2 shell. Looks like we're expecting pass, and of course they come out, and we talked about this, but they're with their first successful one.
Yep. And it is Watson completing the screen over there on the right side, and they pick up not just a first down, but really good yardage inside the 25-yard line down to the 23 of Walton. You wanted that Glen Academy score. The Glen Academy, what are they, the Terrors or something weird? They got kind of a weird nickname, Glen Academy. They win that one 42-7, so they advance to the second round.
Sounds like a real barn burner.
Rocky Hidalgo.
Rocky's doing it down there. There we go, over the
They are
top.
looking downfield, and it is incomplete. Going for the end zone that time. Watson overthrows it, and it's going to be 2nd down and 10.
From the 23-yard line for the Wildcats.
Very happy for Evan Conley and Brett Sloan over at Kell, former coach here, Brett Sloan. They just beat Carver 48-6.
Wow.
Excellent. Happy to see those guys move on.
Kell, a very solid program.
Former OC here, Brett Sloan, who's the head coach there now.
So this time they will keep it on the ground, and the give, I believe,
Watson hands off
to
number 10,
Jamie Felix, the freshman running back, who's had a big game here tonight.
Good, we get a change of staff for them. Means we get a little bit of a burn of a clock because they ran the ball.
It's going to be 3rd down and 8 now for Camden as we are approaching 8 minutes left to go in this one.
On the stop for the Raiders.
So yeah, really a shame. Some of the big time players in 7A football injured right before the playoffs. We talked about Kamani Jet. Look at that stop. Is that Jet Carrier?
Yes, it is.
Oh, it's
Weston Gurr.
Weston Gurr.
Loss of 4 on the play.
Oh, there we go, baby. Now, that's when sometimes patience kills you. You know, sometimes it's just better. You got to have great feel as a running back. And when you don't feel something, you just got to shoot. Just got to shoot. And unfortunately, he's pitter-pattered a little bit too much, and then he took a south cut. He didn't go north or east or west. He actually started going backwards.
4th and 12.
Right,
Watson looking downfield. He's got a man complete left side and shoved out of bounds inside the 15. Did he get enough for the first? It looks like he did. He got, I think, a pretty good spot there. I thought he was knocked out around the 13, which would have been shy of the first, but they're going to spot him down at the 10. And so it's first down for Camden.
First down and goal for a long 10 yards. All right, we got a 2-by-2 set. Interesting here. We're going to go lock up to the top. We got safety help coming down.
Watson will keep it, and Watson has a hole up the middle. Watson driving, stretching for the goal line. The flag comes in from the Walton sideline.
Just inside the 1-yard line.
And let's see.
So
let's see what the officials getting together to talk about this. Could be a hold against Camden. So it is going to go, I believe, against Camden. I think, let's see, maybe not. They're setting up for an extra point. It's going to be a personal foul face mask against the Raiders. So the touchdown, I believe, is going to stand.
Call against the Raiders.
Although I don't even know if I ever saw a touchdown signal.
Good for a Wildcat touchdown.
It is going to be a touchdown, and they will attempt
Looks
the
like
extra
they'll be
point.
going for the 2-point after attempt.
All right, so they are going for 2.
Walton 40, Camden 20. The score with 7:05 remaining in the game.
The pass is to Felix. He's going to do a jump pass, and look at that play. What an effort. What an effort. And I believe it was Justin McConnell. Is it Jalen Wilson? I thought it was Justin McConnell, number 11, who got in there. But either way, a tremendous play. They tried to hand it off to Felix, who ran into the line and then stepped back, throws the jump pass.
Tim Tebow.
I like that play call.
I do too.
But great effort by the Walton defense.
Put a little more on it. Put a little more on it. That was a great play call. Good job, Coach Spire. He in that whole drive, he pulled out a couple joker cards.
It was Jalen Wilson. What a heads-up play by number 15, Jalen Wilson, the senior defensive back. And I'll tell you what, you talk about drawing the short stick. He starts on almost any other team in the state of Georgia.
Yep.
This secondary is so talented. Jalen Wilson has to, get his little spots here and there and play on special teams, and he made a great play right there.
Excellent play. You love to see that, and it gets kind of, you wonder what's happening when you see the quarterback actually take a bubble type of a swing pass type of path, and the running back catches it and he sprints towards the line. You don't know anything to do except commit as a defensive player, and that's a heads-up play by our Walton defender there. That's an excellent job. So
a moment ago I was talking about big-time players in 7A football getting hurt right before the playoffs. We know about Kamani Jet for Roswell getting hurt right prior to the playoffs. Same thing with Harrison Bailey, the quarterback at Marietta. Marietta, the game is not a final yet, but Marietta is trailing East Coweta 28-19. So it's a 2-score game. Marietta trailing East Coweta in the 4th quarter.
And we don't get time frames on that.
No, I don't see how much time is left. But that'll be a huge win for East Coweta.
Absolutely.
If they can pick it up. Not over yet. But finals are starting to come in, and as much as I hate to say it, one of your guys leads this team. It's the school that my son goes to, but North Paulding falls in the first round to Westlake 28-24. Our Archer was a big winner tonight, 56-0 over Forsyth Central.
I just had a conversation with Coach Hepler, and you know, he knew he was facing a big, tall task against Archer, and I tell you, that makes it it's tough when you face a big-time team like that. Here we go.
Going for the onside kick here. As Camden tees it up at the Walton 45. He's got to go 10 yards. And let's see, did Walton get it? I think actually Camden got it. And I think Walton's trying to say that maybe Camden touched it before it went 10 yards or something. But
stand by for the call.
That was a great kick. And I'm going to tell you right now, I'm not a big fan of going 5-4 or 5-5 on that.
According to Grant Jensen down there, looks like the Walton Raiders will be awarded the football.
Yeah, and the official did indicate that it's Walton football. So
maybe he touched it a bit early.
So the only thing it could be is that Camden touched the football before it went 10 yards.
They're marking it like he did.
Looks like that ball went just shy of 10 yards. The required 10 yards to make it an official kick.
I think he was pushing back. I think he was pushing back everybody back.
All right, so now
but
the officials are still talking about this.
I think they're talking about the type of food they're going to order in about 15 minutes.
Coach Spire is halfway to the hash mark over there out on the field.
He wants in that huddle.
Coach Bruner out on the field a little bit, but he's not even to the numbers. And the officials still discussing, still talking about it.
This referee discussion is presented by Northside.
So Walton's argument was the ball got touched before it went 9 yards by Camden.
Our announcer just said, Mark Aston said, this referee discussion is sponsored by.
All right, so now they're going to give the football to Camden. Coach Bruner is extremely upset, as you might imagine. He wants to know, how do you flip it back and forth like that?
How do you see it one way and then all of a sudden you see it some other way?
Right.
Absolutely.
So the ball moves forward 2 yards now, and it's Camden football.
Someone's going to make a case for this is why you should have replay in game-deciding situations. Not that we're in a particularly close game right now, but
there you are.
Flea flicker.
It again.
It's not
Watson
working out on this one.
The football going downfield, and it is into triple coverage, incomplete. And so it is going to be 2nd down and 10 now for Camden.
You know, it's not really the time that you go for a flea flicker. You've got to wait for like a 2nd and 1, 3rd and 1, 4th and 1 in this situation. Guys are going to play prevent. Coach is saying, listen, stay back, stay back, stay back. I don't care if it's 1st and 10 on the 35. They're going to tell them to stay back.
So here we go, 2nd down and 10. Watson is going to look left. Now he's running right, looking right. He throws the football. It is complete over there, but the receiver caught it with his knees on the ground.
That's actually excellent. You know why? Because the clock burns and they only gain 3 yards. The clock now burns. They got to get to the line of scrimmage, make the call. Look, all this readjustment. The receivers do not know boundary and field. They don't. They're strength receivers, which means they got to flip the field. Takes time. Receivers at home learn both sides of the play, so you can play both sides.
Watson fakes the handoff, throws it to the right side again. This time it is incomplete, and a huge hit over there by a Camden offensive lineman on a Raider defender who gets up slowly, but get up he does. You're going to be able to see the replay here on our end. You guys can't see it on Raider Vision, but
yeah, number 22 just got a little bit laid down there.
So it is 4th down and 7 now for Camden with 6:16 left to play here in the football game. And that was Jeb Carrier who took a big hit. Now Watson, this time forced out of the pocket. He is running for his life. The ball's on the ground. It is going to be picked up by Grant Jemson, but I think they're going to call him down. Doesn't matter because it was 4th down anyway. It's going to be Walton football on the turnover on downs. And that is the 4th time tonight that Walton has turned Camden over on downs.
You know what? Is that's probably not a record, but I'm just saying, that's a lot. And it's particularly not a record because there's a couple teams out there that don't believe in punting.
Led by number 14,
And look at
Zach
that by
Rogers,
Trey
to
Middleton.
take over
Great
on the
pursuit of the
41
quarterback.
yard
That
line.
was awesome. He never let up the hustle. He knew he was going to get there. He got home all right. Zach Roseman's still in there at quarterback. True freshman. Got a lot of playing time this year and really showed some great ability. Here he goes again. Great
And
ability.
it is complete to McConnell. McConnell breaks a tackle. He's
Rogers
inside the
pass
40
caught by number
of
11,
Camden, and they will
Justin
spot him
McConnell.
down at the
Good for a
38.
Walton Raider first down.
Tim, this just in, we're still playing football.
You
Love
have to.
seeing Zach play.
Still-
Love seeing him
Number
tack
42,
downfield.
Nick
Little zone
Langella
read,
again
pull
for the
out,
Raiders.
and he hits it. So you keep the linebacker set in, and you can hit the
Alex
slanted.
Ruth again
And you can
for
see
the
on the
Raiders.
replay how the linebackers reacted to that. Great call by Coach Hirschfeld.
So 1st and 10 from the Camden 38, 5:45 left to play. Roseman will keep it on the ground as he hands it off.
Hands
I
off to
believe,
number 36,
let's see, it's not
Austin
Soyoya.
Eldridge.
That was a straight
For the
handoff
Raiders,
there.
good gain on the play.
You can tell because he
With just
split his
about
hands to hand
5
the ball
minutes
off.
and 30 seconds
And,
remaining.
you know, I always teach
in
my
the
guys,
first
you
round
don't let the
playoff
other hand hang down. You don't have to
contest.
hand the ball off with
Raider
2
Valley.
hands. It's just you got to pocket the other one. You don't let it sit down at your side. You tell too many tells that way.
That is sophomore Austin Eldridge rather, on the carry for the Raiders.
Number 36, is that
Yep.
correct? Yep. 2-by-1 set. We got a tight end set in there. Running back looking like he's going to be blocking there. Double move. We're putting it up. Let number
It
11
is
make a play.
McConnell hauls it in, but he's going to be
Rogers
out of
pass
bounds.
incomplete. Intended receiver, number
Or
11.
maybe he didn't hold it in. I
Justin
thought he brought it
McConnell.
in. But it is incomplete, and now it is going to be 3rd down and 10 for the Raiders with
Like the West,
4:57.
number 42,
And
Nick Langella. Happy birthday
To
the
your
press
point
box.
about time on
Happy
the clock,
birthday,
Chris,
number
that
42.
those incomplete passes stop the clock and keep a little bit of hope alive for Camden County.
You know, I think they want to keep Zach, you know, live and in fire because he is he's something special, and Walton's really excited to have him in the program.
It is Eldred again, this time on the carry for the Raiders. Goes
Rosman hands off
for
to
maybe
Eldridge.
2 yards.
His
Got
head's
Eldridge
not in
driven
the
back.
helmet.
All over the field.
That's good news. By the way, what's great about that clock is not burning because I think they called the timeout.
Timeout called by the Wildcats
Yep.
with 4:49 remaining.
So it's going to be 4th down for the Raiders, 4th and 9 after this timeout.
Got
Walton
the
leading by
birthday
20.
wish list going on here. Another Walton Raider shout out to Mikey Farr. Mikey Farr, happy birthday.
Hey, Mikey Farr's birthday. You remember earlier in the season we had back-to-back Friday nights where one was Austin Kirksey's birthday and the next one was Zach Roseman's birthday?
The parents planned that way back in the day. They knew where they were going to go to school, and they said, hey, would it be cool?
Now I'm wondering,
That's true.
no, I'm just wondering if like today, you know, is really their birthday, or was it yesterday, or is it tomorrow? They're just saying happy birthday.
Usually you do it the day of.
I know, I understand that.
It's an old rule.
Please don't forget to stop by the concession stand or the table.
Unless, do we celebrate half years? Because then you have 2 chances at it.
They do a tremendous job.
Half years, I do.
supporting Habitat
I
for
do
Humanity
too.
before you leave.
I'm the only one giving myself gifts.
I'd like to thank all our friends in Camden County for making the drive effort and support the team.
So the Raiders are going to kick it away. It's Charlie Pollock.
Let's see him do a pinpoint. Pin him back here a little bit. Pinpoint him.
Pollock
Oh, he
kicks it
doesn't do the
away.
chopper. That's
Charlie
weird.
Pollock punting for
I would
the
expect
Raiders.
him, with his expertise, to do a, you know, the end over end
Back
kick,
in the end zone.
the chopper. I was
Ball
wanting to see that.
Placed on the 20-yard line.
It hit inside the 5, but does
The
roll
Wildcats
into
will
the
take
end
over
zone
first
for
and
a
10 on their own
touchback
play.
for Camden.
You know, our punter has a little bit of a limp going on. I wonder what that means.
Probably means he's got some soreness in one of his 2 legs, I would imagine. Probably the one that, you know, he seems to be favored.
Right.
I guess.
So that's an educated guess.
All right, Camden on 1st and 10. It is Watson completing the pass to the right side,
Logan
and it
Watson.
is going to be a loss of about a yard on the
With the
complete
pass.
pass. Got a really good spot.
Incomplete.
Thought he lost more than
Broken up by
one.
I don't believe he caught it. I think they incompleted it.
Oh, they called incomplete? Okay.
10.
Second down and 10. Thought he hauled that one in. You know I can't see anything. I'm flying blind up here.
Yeah, I guarantee you next year I'm going to come with a gift.
Hopefully by next year I will have done something about my eyes. Second down and 10.
Oh, you got to check and see if you have that extended plan.
I do. 4:33, Watson looking over the middle, got a man complete. It is first down yardage and a little bit more as he crosses the 35-yard line to the 37. Jalen Wilson on the coverage and stop.
15,
In prevent situations, you don't really want to go deep. You really want to hit the soft spots, and that's everything underneath. There's going to be big windows because the defense is super preventative, right? They're back. They play with altitude, make sure that nothing gets beyond, they come up and make the tackle. That's always the goal.
So first and 10, Watson again looking downfield. He's got a man, and it
Drop.
is
incomplete.
incomplete over there on the far sideline.
Very well thrown. You know, the receiver looked like he could have come down with that, and he also didn't look like he was running full speed. He might have. He might be one of those guys that looks like watching water run.
Like he's gliding.
Yeah. So you can see all the space that we have, the unaggressive tone. We're worried about just getting back. Usually our corners are right up on them, and we're playing with some space.
Second down and 10. They get the ball out of the way in a hurry, and there's that screen pass. Well defended once again.
Even though we're back, Tim, it doesn't matter.
And this time it was Mikey Farr, I think.
We're aggressive. I'm going to just tell you, our recognition of screen, it almost scares you because you know how you run screen and go? You know, you run screen, you fake the stock block, and you're out. We play so well to both reserve a guy over the top and then take the guy under and destroy the screen. It's great defensive.
Loss of 2 that time on the play by Mikey Farr. Watson has time to throw, completes it to the right side. He'll get what he can and get out of bounds. He's kind of forced out of bounds over there. And I believe it was B.J. Gibson.
I'm glad they didn't notice the holding to the opposite side of the field there. We had a little bit of a jersey hold on a receiver. Clock is stopped. He got out of bounds. Looks like we're going to have, what is this going to be?
Indications are if you're holding against the offense, stand by for the official call.
Okay, so maybe they did get the holding that I had recognized. I didn't think they did. Apparently they did. So what do we got? We got a 3rd and 2 here.
So third down and about 2, looks like.
3rd and long 2 for the Wildcats with 3:32 remaining in the contest.
Time is not on Camden's side here.
Playing soft D as always. In prevent area.
Logan Watson steps up into the pocket. He's going to keep it himself. He's hit late as he was kind of going down to the ground. And
Trey Middleton just got basically tackled. It was
made by number 7,
kind of a whip around block. Check it out on the replay.
Number 22, Jeff Carrier on the
so we
stop.
think we're going to see a hold here against Camden.
Looks like
get the signal. It is holding.
Is the call against
so
the
you see him just tackle him in the
yeah,
backfield.
He did get tackled. And that was the big sophomore Micah Morris. Sorry.
But
sorry, Micah.
He's been doing a good job by not getting called on his holding. I've caught that guy holding about 3 or 4 times in this game.
Yeah. He is the highly recruited sophomore offensive lineman. So
10 yards from the spot of foul will be the penalty.
Yeah, spot foul. And being back behind the line of scrimmage, that's a huge break for the Raiders. Big blow for Camden.
They'll bring up a 3rd and 18 for the Wildcats.
We just got to remember, and you remember early in the season when we would get beat deep in strange situations? There was a couple of those. And that's just one thing that we're doing really good about, keeping a good eye on the whole play package, making sure nobody gets beat deep.
Watson with time to throw, goes to his safety valve over there on the right side. It is complete for positive yardage, but it's going to bring up a 4th down and long.
Pressure by number 57, Grant.
Even though he was in field, he got tackled in field, he got whipped out of bounds.
4th and 8 for the
So
Wildcats.
that stops the clock. 4th and 8. We're going to obviously still be in prevent. We're not going to change anything up. We're running a 2-shell, which we're dropping the corners off significantly. And the backers are taking a jab step, and they're just jumping back.
So 4th and long. Watson tried to complete it, but it was broken up. Excellent coverage over there on the far side. And who was that? Connor West in there?
This just in.
Number
The
40.
Walton Raider press box would also like to wish
Well,
Camden County
Number 40?
Wildcat number 14, Marcel Riddle. Marcel Riddle, happy birthday, Marcel.
Great job there by coverage. They want to hit the trail route underneath, little shallow route, and unfortunately, we're all over it.
Yeah.
Great
Nice play by Connor Watson. So that is at least 5 times now that Walton has turned Camden over on downs.
Is that a record?
Defense coming up big tonight.
28, Marietta 26, and Parkview 42, Collinsville 19. Now back to DJ.
I'll tell you what, you want to make a good run in playoffs, play great defense. Sure, score points, I get that, but play great defense. You shut a team down like Camden to 20 points, and defensively, they only gave up 2 touchdowns now. They didn't give up 3.
Right.
Illegal participation looks like will be the call.
Illegal participation, that's what we're going to call when you come out and throw with us, with those NFL guys.
Thank you to my officials in here helping us out with the official calls.
So it is 1st down and 5 now after the mark-off against the Wildcats.
For the Raiders.
All right, we're in a 2-by-1 set. We got a tight end in, and we're running jet outside zone.
There's a big hit, and that is Eldred on the carry, and a huge hit by Camden number 45, Devin Harris.
The number 36, Austin Eldred. Lost the 4 on the play.
Austin Eldred got met there, didn't he?
Yeah, he did. Stayed on his feet though and tried to drive his legs forward for yardage, but it's going to be 2nd down and 9 after the 4-yard loss. They send Patel in motion right to left. We are down under 2.5 minutes left to go in this one. Been a long night here at Raider Valley, but a good night for the Walton Raiders. That is Eldred with the football. He's got some room over there. He is close to a 1st down, but looks like he'll be a couple of yards short.
Now, it'd be fun. Now, this, I know we want the clock to burn, but it'd be fun for him to do a little double move here. 3rd and 1.
Just noticed on Raider Vision, we put up on the screen that our next game is Cherokee. No, our next game is at Hillgrove next Friday night.
Huh. Number 89.
It'll be at Hillgrove. Yep. Hillgrove, which I know we already said they're undefeated. They're playing excellent football, and the quarterback McGravy, he has thrown no interceptions this year. I don't know if he did tonight, but judging from their win, probably did. He is so efficient in decision, and when there's a down where he's moving, gets moved out of the pocket, his ball placement is still. It's either his receivers or it's out of bounds or on the ground. He is excellent in decision making.
Well, he's going to face a tough secondary next Friday night, no question about that. That should be a really good matchup next Friday between Walton and Hillgrove in the 2nd round of the playoffs. They will hand it off. It's Eldred again. He's going to be met in the backfield, driven back. It's going to bring up a 4th down situation as we are at 1:38 left to go in the ball game.
And somebody called the timeout or something.
Timeout called by the Wildcats.
So it is 4th down and 7 now for the Raiders. We assume they'll punt it away, but you never know with Bullet Bob calling a timeout here with 1:38 left to go. Maybe Coach Bruner and the Raiders are like, all right, we'll go for it then.
Tim, can
never know.
Well, exactly. Tim, can I give a shout out?
Yeah.
Pete English.
He's the man.
You sent him an email today that said you gave him an order of about 9 assignments.
I asked him to print a roster.
and I'm going to tell you something. He said, "Do you want it correlated? Do you want it highlighted? What did you want?" And guess what was sitting on the desk when we got here?
Yeah. He does tremendous work. I tell you what, I think every high school program would be blessed to have a guy like Pete English who gives so much of his time to
Absolutely.
do such quality work for the school and the program. It's tremendous.
We are running. We're running a normal play here.
Yep.
Oh wow, we could have had a chance there with an uncovered, but we went ahead and called the run play.
Run the jet sweep. That is, I believe it's Eldred again on the carry.
Eldred
Walton
on
will
the
turn
carry
it over on
for the
downs to
Raiders.
Camden, and we are at
Raiders will turn the
1:32
ball
now
over
left
the
to go
Wildcats on down.
in the football game. Camden will get it back here.
Number 17, Gray Bradwell in the game for the Raiders.
So you're seeing a little bit of a mix here of starters and backups out there
Number
on
47,
defense for the
Chad
Raiders.
Chapman
Connor West
in the
is still
game
out
for
there.
the
Grant
Raiders.
Jensen is out there.
Number 40, Javon Smalls in the game for the Raiders.
And here we go.
They got a replacement at quarterback as well.
They will hand it off, keep it on the ground. I believe it's Felix.
Watson hands off to Jamie Felix.
And Felix is to the
Number
45
46.
and across the 45 to the 46.
Connor West
And guess
on the
what?
stop
Short of the first down, so the clock
for
is
the
burning.
Raiders.
I love clock burning in this situation.
Asher Hoffman in the game for the Raiders.
Second down and short for Camden.
We're running cover 3 bail.
Again, they hand it off, and they've got a
Number
first
43,
down to the
Kenneth
48-yard line.
The ball carrier for the Wildcats. It's good for a Wildcat first down.
So we are down under a minute now, 51.4
From
seconds
the
remaining.
48-yard line.
Look at that. Talk about, they
Just
just fixed the chyron on the
1
screen
minute
and
to
said our
contact.
next game is Hillgrove. He's quick like that.
You're kidding
See
me.
how quick he fixed that?
Well, when you've got the type of
There is a
Wow.
pass that is going to fall incomplete. It looked like the quarterback was hit as he
for
was
the
thrown.
Wildcats. Number 26, Malik Wilson in the game
Now I feel like a jerk for pointing out that
for the Raiders.
Pete actually made a mistake. He fixed it so
Throwing pass
fast.
incomplete.
well, I guarantee you he noticed it probably quicker than we did, or not. I'm not sure. All right, I think we got the normal quarterback in.
Second down and 10.
Oh, no, it's
another backup.
different guy.
Yeah. And that one should have been caught, but it's incomplete. And I think
Pass
maybe
incomplete.
a little bit of potential alligator arms maybe over there by the receiver
Number
after
6,
seeing how
Alex
hard
Reefer.
some of these receivers are getting hit
For
on
the
those screen
Wildcats.
passes.
I think he's recognized that that's not a good play either.
Number
So
59,
31.8 now remaining.
Walton Raiders are shuffling guys in and out, trying to get everybody playing time, I'm sure.
Hey, when you're an underclassman and a backup player, to get in a state playoff football game is just a tremendous,
Number 63,
tremendous thing.
Jonathan
Absolutely.
Chesser on
Awesome
the stop
stuff.
for the Raiders.
Invaluable time, too, because you want to get guys experience in
Carried
tough
by
situations.
number
They'll probably
24.
let this one burn, I would imagine.
That was
Jensen
Jonathan
Vogel.
Chesser on the stop for the Raiders. We're down
For the
under 10
Wildcats.
seconds, and they may snap the football one more time. But if they do, that will definitely be it. They do snap it. They hand it off. It is a running play. He's still on his feet as he's inside the 35, inside the 40, and he may have kept
Looks like
going,
that'll be your
but
ball
the
game,
turf
ladies and
monster
gentlemen.
got him and tripped him
On
up
behalf
inside
of
the
head
Walton
football
40.
coach
That's
Daniel
going to do it.
Booth.
Walton wins this one. The final score here at
Walton
Raider
Raiders
Valley
40,
is Walton 40
Camden County
and
Wildcats
Camden 20. And the two
Thanks
teams
for visiting
will
Raider Valley.
shake hands,
Thanks for honoring our veterans
congratulate
on
each other.
Sunday.
Walton will move on.
And
They
thanks for supporting
improved
the Walton
to
Raiders.
10-1 on the season.
For the
Camden's
2018
season
campaign,
ends
Raider
at
Valley.
7-4, and the Raiders will have a very tough opponent next Friday night on their home field as they go over to Powder Springs area and play Hillgrove next Friday night.
It'll be a tough challenge. Hillgrove is something special. They up until this week, they were 5th in the state, 45th in the country. 45th in the country. Stout team that we're going to play. And, one thing I know about our staff, our coaching staff, we're going to be ready. We're going to know everything about them. We're going to have all the statistical information on them, all their things they like to do. and we're going to sit there and expose whatever they don't do well.
Yeah. Looking forward to that one next Friday. Now, you never know. Walton came into the playoffs as a 2 seed, so depending on how things shake out next Friday and beyond, and who the other future opponents may or may not be, we could end up back here at Raider Valley with another home playoff game at some point. We'll just kind of have to see how things play out. But it's been a great season. If we don't get to come back, a tremendous win here tonight for the Raiders. Wild and woolly first quarter. Things kind of settle down after that. But hopefully we'll end up coming back. But if not, Chris, had a lot of fun this year. Thanks to Pete and Bob McLeod and George Jones, who wasn't here tonight. George Jones did a tremendous job on camera for us. Everyone, tremendous job here with Raider Vision. Thanks again, everybody. It's been a long day for all of us. We all want to go home and get some rest. So, yeah. We'll say goodnight, and thanks for checking us out here on Raider Vision, folks.
Immediately after the game in the Walton main gym for Walton Basketball Hoops Madness. And thanks again for supporting Walton Raider football. Good night. Have a great evening, great weekend. Drive safely.